What is going on, Benzinga Nation? We've got a substitute teacher coming in. You've got 13. You've got myself. My name is Nate, if you haven't seen me before. And, substitute teachers were kind of my favorite because anytime you would see them rolling in those 90-inch box TVs, you knew it was going to be a good day, 13.
Yeah.
Now you're just going to ignore me? Really? Come on.
No, I didn't know you
That's
were
how we're starting off?
I didn't know you were talking to me. I was just looking to see
I said 13.
I know. I know, but I heard my name and I was like, what was the question?
Wow, so you were ignoring me. That's cool. That's cool. That happens. Well, good morning, Wiley. Good morning, AC2000. We're excited to have y'all here. It should be a great show.
There we are.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Ken. Tone it up, but good morning, Kay. All right, here we go. Yeah, wake up time, 13. What you got in there? Coffee? What you hanging out with?
Yeah, coffee. All
right. Yeah.
Gets me going.
Yeah.
That makes sure that I hear my name properly and answer questions when asked.
You had me scared because I was like, did I just do the open on mute? And like everyone just saw me just moving my words. Is that what that was? But anyway, it's time for live trading with the substitute teacher.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get things started off. 13, I'm going to go and put my charts up and kind of go over a couple of things, go around the horn. And of course, If you have any movers, we can kind of go back and forth. I'll mention a couple of tickers and I'll kick it right back to you. Right. Here we are. Let me start with the SPY as we are looking. Where are we at in terms of all-time highs, right? So we are about,
not too far away.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of mark it there. I don't know the exact number there is, but at the moment, let's just say we're kind of hanging out here.
It's 565 and 16 cents.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. So we're about we're only about 1% or so away. Maybe 1.5% if you want to kind of have a good measure aspect of it. So keep an eye on that for me. I would definitely maybe around say 564, 68. I'd be setting an alert just in case we want to have a little bit of double top situation. We'll see what ends up happening there. But then you also do have a gap to fill. If we do go ahead and come back, right? If we do go ahead and come on back down, you do have a gap to fill. Something to keep in mind. Look, these aren't day trades, of course. This isn't something that's going to happen today or tomorrow, I don't think. But just something to keep in mind is that you do have a gap fill here. If you do go ahead and break the lows.
In both directions. There's a gap fill.
Help me see. Ooh, right here you're saying, huh?
Yeah, that's the next one to the upside there. So we fill that, it's likely we're going to hit the all-time highs.
But what if we reject from here?
That could be a possibility too. With how relentless the SPY is, there could be a short period of time where it does kind of go sideways. But I think if we fill that gap, we're going to end up touching the all-time high.
Let me continue the good morning train real quick. Good morning, Beach Bum Trading. I'm curious how you got that name, by the way. I know you've been a fan of the show for quite some time. I don't think I ever heard that story. Good morning, Smoke Tuna, Shaka, Usfan Khan. Hopefully I got that right. If I didn't, my parents would disown me. Anthony, good morning. Vintage Tool Restoration, good morning. Good morning, Ryan. Let's see. When the substitute ended up being I'm not going to lie. Never mind. A lot of my substitute teachers were, not that. But all right. Good morning. Thinking about it. This is cool. I haven't been on live trading in a while. I have, but not consistently. Only when Ryan kind of steps out.
The love is here.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm seeing a whole bunch of new names that I haven't seen when I used to do live trading. So this is awesome.
I did see thinking about it yesterday. I don't know if you were around thinking about it, but I got to give you a shout out. Thanks for RCAT. I took a trade the day that you said that it was that you had mentioned it. I think it was a couple of days ago on Monday. Took that trade. That worked out really well for me. So thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate the community as always. This is a beautiful way to start off the show. But yeah, so look, you've got our alerts set on the SPY, and I hope you understand the reasoning behind why we have our alerts set, right? So if it does go ahead and fill the gap here and you see a little bit of weakness on the daily candle, then it might be worth going short via puts. Maybe you go out 45, 2 months, give or take, to give yourself a little bit of space. And if you go ahead and break above the 562 or so, I would personally go ahead and get out and try again if we got near the 565 area. And then, of course, if you do come all the way back down, I think if you break 550, I would probably get some puts. And if you break this 549 area, I would definitely add to those puts and see if I can get all the way down to the, I say all the way down, but get down maybe 4 points on the SPY. Let's take a look at the Qs and see what's happening there. Get rid of all these little drawings that I currently have. And then we can see what gaps we have to fill on that side. So you have some gaps to fill here up top at about the 493 area. If you go ahead and break the 489 area, and then of course to the downside, if you can go ahead and break the 469 area, you have a gap to fill to about 465 or so. So that's what I've got on the Qs. Let's go ahead and take a look at TGT. I heard the, I was watching pre-market prep. I heard my man AB, by the way, who will be on the show at 9:30 because I do have to take a 30-minute client call. And then he was going to go from 9:30 to 10, and I'll be back. So you're getting the substitute teacher getting substituted for 30 minutes. At this point, if you like consistency, 13 is the only man here to provide that to you. But what did you think about Target? Do you have any levels, any thoughts on the trade?
I was looking at that earlier today, and I thought that we're once again seeing a pretty large move off of earnings. Like, I understand that there's a consumer angle here, with them probably trying to find bargains and them penny pinching a little bit.
Yeah.
Target doesn't really strike me as a kind of as a location to do that with when you have Walmart out there still. This seems like a really big move for the earnings they had, and I understand that they had top and bottom line beats, and they also guided really well. But this just seems a bit too much. Now, if this continues to trade up, there could be we could find some resistance at 173. There could be resistance as high up as 181, but I don't even know that we'll get that high. But here's the thing. This market's absolutely bonkers, and anything can go. So we're already up here 15% off their earnings. Who's to say we couldn't go a little bit higher? Now, if we start pulling back, then I think that the support level you're going to start to see come into play is going to be about 157.
All right, 157 is what you've got on it. Let me go to the 15. Oh, look. So this isn't a level again. This is my first time taking a look at Target, but that's a level, the 164.65 that I had set. I think maybe because of, let's kind of go back here. Honestly, I don't really know why I have this level set. I can see obviously some activity here with it being, that was support, bounced up, hit resistance here. So I think that's what it was, is you have resistance here. And now what's up?
Could it be that you pegged that level after back in March when they gapped up on the 5th?
It looks like ye may perhaps is what I have, and then because I mean, look, if we did it twice, right, you would have a level here, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie, you notice the color difference as well. So I marked this level quite some time ago. I don't know exactly when, but notice the color difference. But I will say this: sometimes I wonder if TradingView just kind of changes my lines, just like, oh, I'll move this 3 points, sucker. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sometimes I look at it.
They go from account to account, looking at charts like, oh, I like what this guy's done here.
Okay, listen, if I was an intern and I had access to some charts, I would 100% do that. Are you kidding me? 100% do that. Stop playing with me. All right, cool. But anyway, the point being is you do have a pop-up above the level. Now, something to keep in mind is, are we going to be able to get above the pre-market highs, which at this moment in time is about 167, right? So if we can get above that base, you might have a shot to continue going a little bit higher in terms of pre-market lows. Well, not the lows, excuse me. Pre-market support that I see is approximately 161.14. So I'm going to go ahead and set an alert here, and then we'll get rocking and rolling on that side of things. Same things happen. See, I'm telling you, man, there's somebody at TradingView that just said, haha, watch this. Move, alert set. You know what I mean? I'm telling you they do that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Nvidia. And we've got a special, I'll talk about that here in a second. But here's what I've got on Nvidia. So you've got touch point number 1, touch point number 2, touch point number 3. So if this does go ahead and break above the 161 area, perhaps we can go ahead and touch 167s and then maybe even break all-time highs. I think the all-time highs are 141s. I believe that might be correct there based on the charts that I'm seeing. But they do report earnings. They do report earnings on August 28th is what it is.
Today.
Yep. And by the way, so we have some cool things happening. We have a webinar on how to trade with insider trading, activity, things like that. or insider buying like the executives do. But we do have a sponsored segment that's going to happen where Traders Agency, Ross from Traders Agency, has written up a report on how you can go ahead and trade Nvidia leading up to the earnings. So if you guys want to check that out, you're welcome to. The link is in the chat as well. All you have to provide is your email address, and you'll get the full report and the full breakdown of it. So highly recommend you check that out. I got a quick little glimpse at it last night for a little bit of a read, so I can provide some insights there in a bit. But that's what I've got on Nvidia. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think expectations might be a little too high, or how would you personally?
Well, we drew that line that you have that's showing the resistance when you do the trend line across the tops of the peaks from June and July. So we're Ryan and I were talking about how this could potentially be a big resistance area, and we could reverse here. Now, one of the things we've also been talking about is how the yen carry trade being back on. We've been seeing a lot more bullish activity in the market, and the thought that we've had is this is going to continue probably close to Nvidia earnings, just continuing to have the market rise in Nvidia earnings, and then once that print comes out or before it, we'll start to see the market roll over and take profits. That's the thought, but the reality might be something completely different, because there just seems to be no fear in this market right now. We went from the VIX spiked all the way up to 60, came all the way back under 20 in a very, very short time, the quickest it's ever done. So this market seems to be on edge, but fearless for the moment. This could continue to push up, and AVGO might also be the next one that we wait for. But I still think that we're going to see a big volatility spike after Labor Day, and we'll start to see selling accelerate then.
And speaking of AVGO, if we go ahead and turn on our little gaps, you see that we did go ahead and fill the gap. Did we barely fill it? Yep, we did go ahead and fill it there. But I've got resistance at 172 or so on AVGO. All right, let's. You got any tickers you want to go over before I continue rambling? And good morning, Born to Be Free. And
sure. Yeah, I just have a few I can go over, some movers that we might want to consider trading this morning. So starting with SMFL, this is Smart for Life. They are negotiating an acquisition to acquire 4 wellness companies, which was interesting to me because they don't really have a whole lot of cash. So they are going to have to raise money at some point. They do have a 110,000 share float, and that's resulting from a 1-for-7 reverse split that occurred on April 18th. That was the 4th reverse split they've done. They did 3 in 2023. So very junky name. This company is going to end up raising cash, but we're going to trade the volatility on this, and they do have a 59.26% short interest. So we are also seeing a bit of a squeeze here. Do have some levels with this. The next upside target I'm looking for is to recapture 258. They have a pre-market high of 280. So that's one thing we're going to watch for to break out of. As long as they hold VWAP, we could see that price action, but this is going to be, it's starting to kind of double top here in the pre-market. So I'm probably going to wait to see what this does at the open before we start jumping in to trade this one.
And in terms of VWAP on the 15-minute on TradingView, I've got that at about 226. What do you have that at?
Yeah, I got 225. So it's relatively close. Yeah.
And here's a cool thing. You have resistance here at 8 o'clock on the 15-minute candles. That's what you're looking at here. And then the resistance turns into support here, and we are right near VWAP. Like that area is right near VWAP. So it might not be a bad idea if you did want to take a stab at this, possibly at, say, 225. I'm going to set an alert just to see what ends up happening. And then, of course, if we do go ahead and break out of 250, maybe you have a chance to hit the 280s and see what ends up happening on that one. What else you got?
Next one is going to be RevB. This is Revelation Biosciences. This is moving on no news, but it appears as though it might be moving on some relative volume. They did have a Form 8 that they filed yesterday, and I think it might be moving in relation to that. Now, one thing that I noticed about this while scrolling through the news is that they did have a prospectus that they filed, and they might be, and I think that's what the Form 8 was for. They announced warrants that they're going to be issuing. So I think that is part of what the prospectus was. This company also is going to need cash because if you look at their balance sheet, they got about 12 million on the balance sheet, but they burned through about 8 a quarter. So they are going to need to raise cash. 1.64 million shares on the float. They did a reverse split on January 25th. That was a 1 for 30. That's what I have for RevB.
All right. Give me one. By the way, Lion Atlas, I see your comment and I appreciate feedback like that. keep in mind, whenever I only do big names, whenever 13 only does big names, people love to get the movers as well. So, I got to have a little bit of yin and yang. I got a little bit of balance in our show. So I promise you, we went over a couple of big names. I will continue doing that before the open, before I have to hop. What else you got, 13?
I saw that SDIG was moving. This is being acquired, so there's no trade there. Would not touch that one. The only other one that I saw that was interesting, and I saw that it was also getting mentioned in the chat, BBAI. This is Big Bear AI. They won a they kind of won a contract. It's a shared contract with Concept Solutions. They're being subcontracted by them, but the contract is for $2.4 billion dollars. That's how much it's worth. I can't seem to bring the news up for the moment to see exactly what the contract's for, but okay, here we go. So this is it's an FAA contract. Apparently it's going to be providing IT solutions for the Federal Aviation Administration. 104 million shares on the float. So this is much larger than the other ones we've been talking about. Probably not going to be as easy to move around. However, they do have a 16.56% short interest with 5.8 days to cover. That makes it a nice short squeeze candidate. So this could see some more upside today as well.
All right. Any other movers that you want to go over?
No, let's go over the big stuff so we can.
Let's go over the big stuff, shall we?
Yeah,
all right.
go
We
over
already
the
talked about Nvidia. Just to recap it, right? You've got a little bit of trend line that's looking to break. If it breaks above 130, you're probably wrong, but you've got that aspect of it. You've also got support about the 126 area. See if that breaks. That'd be cool. Let me go ahead and hey, whoa. That's okay. That's okay. We got big names.
Oh, we know these have no business. We're just trading the volatility, man. We're trying to capture quick profits here.
Listen, AMC, GME, all these other stocks that go crazy. We understand that, some say, look, we're trading technicals. We're not looking to hold these companies long-term at all. Let's talk about Hood, because boy, oh boy, I was down about 50% on my options, and I'm stubborn. But also I realized a little too late that I was down that much. And I was like, yeah, at this point we're fine. But anyway, thankfully, Robinhood has bounced back. And, I need this to break 21. I need us to get back to the 25s, please. That would be lovely. I'm still holding on to my $20 calls expiring in January on Robinhood. I get one more earnings out of them. And then, I gotta figure out what to do. So I gotta be patient, but I have options. I can't be too patient. I need things to happen. Let's go ahead and talk about Tesla. You've got, let me go ahead and check something out here on Tesla. What levels do we have?
So we yesterday we got rejected at not at the 226, but 226 was a level I had in Tesla that was going to be a resistance area. Traded above it and then came back in and went lower. So that apparently is a pretty powerful support level. As far as if we continue down, I think that we get some support from the 50-day SMA, which I currently have at 216.36. So that's where I would be looking at for support. Otherwise, trying that 226 resistance level again. And above that, I have 232.
All right, that's what you got. By the way, Smoke Tuna says, Z, be careful trading Amit calls. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by this. But I would love some insights so that I can maybe tell you my opinion on it. But let's go ahead and kind of draw out this trend line here, possibly. There you go, on Tesla. So something to keep in mind, trend line starting all the way back in August. Be careful trading AMD calls. No, I don't think AMD and Amit are very different. I don't know what that happens there. But let's go ahead and take a look at Apple here. You've got resistance that you could face at about the 228 mark, and that's because of this resistance all the way back in July 22nd. Smoke Tuna says Hood. No, I got that you were talking about Hood. Oh, you're talking about Amit from Twitter. I think it's Amit Investing. We actually had him on the show. If that's who you're talking about. Let me know if that's what you're talking about before I give you my opinion. But Apple, we've got resistance at the 228 level, so I'd keep an eye on that if you're looking to go long. And you've got support near term. That's about 223, I believe is what this is.
Yeah, this has been going a little bit sideways this week. I'm kind of curious to see if it can actually get close over the 28. hasn't been up there. It's just kind of been going sideways for, it looks like, since actually Friday was the first of it. It looks like it's on the verge of starting to roll over if it doesn't choose a direction. So I would kind of watch this one, see what it's going to do. And just constantly green days in this one. There's going to have to be a red one here at some point. Now, if we start to go down, there is the 20 and the 50-day SMA down close to what is this, 219.51 and 218.94. So let's just kind of split the difference and call it a little bit above 219. So that could be where we see a little bit of slowdown if we start to sell. Otherwise, there's a gap to fill to the upside. Very small gap. It starts at 231 and 46 cents, and it closes or fills at 232 and 33 cents.
All right, I do see that over here. Let me go ahead. By the way, we've got AB in the back, so we'll go to him, or we'll bring him on. And again, the substitute teacher will get substituted here in about 3 to 4 minutes. Or AB, if you want to just come on early, you have access. They gave you permission. You can join us. But otherwise, I'll just put you up around 9:28 or so. Let's see. If someone wanted us to take a look at Google, GOO. GL. Let's take a look at Google. I've got support at around 163, and then you do have a gap to fill. If we do go ahead and enter this area of about 169.22, you do have a gap to fill at about 170.21. Google, I mean, so here's the thing. By the way, I'll get back to Amit investing here in a second. I forgot about him, but I want to make sure I get to the stocks as well before someone yells at me. With Google, I mean, everyone, I don't know when it was on this chart. I unfortunately don't know. Maybe it was back in March when everyone, that whole woke AI stuff happened. I don't know the exact, proper term, but you guys get the point. But like, that was such a buy. And I'm not saying that because of hindsight. I was saying that back then as well. So I mean, I'm glad things are I'm glad people took advantage of some of those things, and now it's kind of bounced back. Let me go on a little monologue here for February. Thank you. So February was all the way back in. Yeah. So I assume, here, March.
Nice bounce up to 200.
Yeah. Let's see where it was. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what a 46% move. Beautiful. Yeah. Lovely. Handsome. By the way, we talked today in one of our Slack channels about if Trump did an interview with us, if I would interview him. And I was like, I think I would do a good job, a great job. Matter of fact, I think it'd be the most incredible job I've ever done. But then I would probably get canceled from my family, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I think Amit Investing does a great job. I think he also has his biases, but he knows that he's biased about certain companies like Hood and Palantir, but he has great insights. And I think the retail analyst community, I genuinely enjoy his insights and, kind of seeing the other side of things from Amit as well. He knows he's biased and he's aware of it, but I do enjoy his analysis that he has on Twitter. Matter of fact, we had him on the show to talk about Robinhood maybe about 6 months ago. I need to reach out and see if he'll come back on as well. Let me take a look at CrowdStrike. What's up?
Real quick with Google. As long as it can hold and continue to close over the 20-day SMA, I think it could make a slow journey back up to the 50, which is going to probably be, I would kind of peg it close to 175, maybe slightly underneath 175 where it might find resistance. But it looks to me like Google is going to be trying to recover so long as it can continue to hold above this 20-day SMA.
Yeah, and then you've also got, look at CrowdStrike. We love our whole numbers here at Benzinga, and a lot of the traders do as well. That's one of the first, that makes sense, things that I learned when I started trading, 4 years ago, actually 5 years ago maybe, is the whole numbers. And look at that, CrowdStrike just got beaten after their glitch situation. And then we actually have an interview that I recorded with Stephanie Link, which gives me the giggles and makes me feel good because I've watched her great insights on CNBC and the street when I was, maybe, 21 or something like that, when I was just getting into stocks in terms of investing side of things. So that was a cool interview for me to do. And she has a position on CrowdStrike and she talks about it as well. I don't know exactly what her price entry was when she got it, but you can catch that interview on tomorrow, actually, because we have a webinar to go over cybersecurity aspects of things as well. Let me go ahead and take a look at Amazon. You have support here. Beautiful bounce from there at the 173. So you had support here. We obviously broke, filled the gap. Now we'll see if we can kind of maintain this chug moving along as well. 191.45 is kind of what I've got in terms of open. Look at that. Our beautiful alert. I got to give the chat one alert a day. Anytime I'm on, we got it. TGT. Let's see what's happening there. Why did this go off? And it's because we have officially broken the previous pre-market high, which means we have set a new pre-market high. Where would I try to get an entry on this one? I think 165. If target wants to come down to 165, I would look to go ahead and make my entry there. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to my setting my order right now. Let's see if we can grab some shares on target at 165. 165.20.
When it comes to some of these stocks like the Mag 7, been seeing a lot of CEOs selling. So I think there's going to be limited upside to how far these can go, because as soon as they get up to a certain point, the CEOs are just going to start selling again. And the fact that they're selling so much doesn't make me very positive on continued upside.
I love it.
I
love it when like we can see like CEOs and kind of selling and buying and whatnot. Gives great insights.
And you got them. You got the CEOs of Amazon, Google, Meta, and Nvidia all selling their stock since July.
By the way, what else I love is that AB came on the show, hopped off the show, picked his nose, and then came right back on as well. AB, I appreciate.
I didn't want to do it on the air. I care about viewers.
He's not going to show all his picks anyway. So
I care about viewers. I care about our viewers.
Stock picks only.
I appreciate you, AB. If you want to share your screen, pal, I will remove mine. I've got to go to this client meeting. Someone keeps asking me in the chat what my client meeting's about. It's about talking to you guys more about what's happening in the crypto world and the stock market world. So, talking to a couple of future clients, but I'll be back. AB, you got your screen share? You ready to go?
Bye, Sinead.
Sure, I can share my screen.
Please.
All right, let me know. I'm just coming in here.
We're open.
We're open. All right, let's go see. Let's go watch the open real quick. Let's go to the S&P 500.
Bye.
And we'll go to the Sinead. We'll go to the 1 minute chart here so we can really see the action here off the open. Looks like we're dipping a little bit off the open. These 1 minute candles are kind of crazy sometimes. What are the big movers so far this morning?
This morning we've been looking at SMFL, Smart for Life. We've been looking at REVB, Revelation Biosciences, and I also covered BBAI, Big Bear AI Holdings. Smart for Life, they were negotiating an acquisition of 4 different wellness companies. Not sure with what cash, so they're probably going to have to raise money. RevB didn't have any real news, but they did have some relative volume from yesterday, so I think that's what's probably moving it. They also filed prospectus earlier, I think it was last week. And then BBAI, this is the most interesting one to me this morning. They have a shared contract with Concept Solutions. It's a $2.4 billion contract with the Federal Aviation Administration. And they have a lot of high short interest. So I think that is going to squeeze nicely.
There you go. Let me know in the chat what you guys are watching. Looks like Will is watching SoundHound AI moving up a little bit here. You can see right off the open here. We're looking at 2 minute candles here. Popped from about 515 up to about 528. Just zooming out here. Looks like you hit a high a few days ago last Tuesday of 552. So that'd be a level to watch here. For me, if I'm trading SoundHound to the downside, this is a good consolidation level support here, right at around $5. You have that psychological level too. If it dips below $5, then that 475 becomes your next support level. So I would just be watching it here, see if it can hold up above this 520 level. SoundHound, I'd be looking for it again to hit this high that it did just a few minutes ago at around 530. See if it can break out above that. Then you have upside potential to at least 550, if not higher, if it gets past that point. SoundHound AI. This is one, of course, that Nvidia invested in a while ago, and it got a huge pop. You can see if we go out to the daily chart here, you can really see the Nvidia effect here on SoundHound. Boom, right there. You get the announcement that Nvidia is playing with your company. Bang, goes all the way up to $10. Then now it has found a support level here at $5.
Thinking about it, Tim Melvin will be on tomorrow because Ryan's not here today. We just moved it over to tomorrow for this week only.
There you go. Tim Melvin, of course, the premier expert in regional banks. Let's go ahead and check on the KRE. Continuing, I mean, it's sold off since it got up to about $60, but the regional banks as a whole have continued their recovery since that big collapse last spring when you had Silicon Valley Bank and some of the other regional banks basically failing because of their balance sheets. They were holding some bad, real estate deals and stuff as interest rates were going higher and higher and higher. I still think there's some value here in some of these stocks. I know you guys like to trade the smaller names and the crazy movers, and these regional banks typically don't move like that, but you've got your Colin Frosts, your Western Alliances of the world that their charts have actually been looking really nice since last spring.
Looking at SMFL trying to get above the 258 level. Or I'm sorry, it's not 258. 258 level, trying to get back above up there. Since coming down off of it in pre-market, 280 is the pre-market high. Looking for that.
There you go. Again, looking at on these smaller movers, I'm going to pull up the 2-minute chart just to give us the kind of intraday action here off the open. So you can see Smart for Life kind of dipped right off the open down to about 216, bounced back up to around 260. That's where we're trading at right around now, 255. Well, we were a second ago. Now we're coming down a little bit. So
it's volatile.
Yeah, volatile. Let's see. Looking at the chat to see what else people are watching. Oh, we got a halt in Neon. Let's go see what's going on in Neon. I'm not very familiar with this stock. Neonode halted to the upside. Let's see if we got a news here in Pro or if it's just a crazy movement.
Samsung.
Yeah, Neonode soars after winning appeals court reversal in Samsung case. So there you go. That'll help. You win a big court ruling against Samsung. Looking at Neonode here. Let's zoom out on a daily chart here. Wow, that had a nice little consolidated rounding bottom pattern there, and it looks like right around $1. I love when these charts 13 set up at the same point as a psychological level, like $1. Just to me, it just works so perfectly. And then you see it has bounced back up here now at about 385. But I mean, man, you've got a gap fill up to the upside if it can, but then you've also got this resistance down here. So this is an important level for Neonode here.
Yeah, SMFL really selling off, going down to what's the low here? 210? 205, sorry. 205 is the low and heading lower. This could end up going down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which I have down at 160. Rev B not doing much. BBAI sideways at the moment. And SoundHound, that one's actually making more moves than some of these movers were this morning. So this is actually broken over the intraday high yesterday, which was at about 520. We're now printing an intraday high of 528 and holding above VWAP.
There you go on SoundHound there. Looking nice there. I mean, I might have to take a stab at some SoundHound today, not investment or financial advice. Still looking at the chat. So if you've got any stocks you want to check out, looks like Shaka is watching Lunar and the VIX. Let's go check in Lunar. I haven't looked at this stock in a while since the moon landing a couple months ago. 2-minute chart here on Lunar is zooming in. Looks like you dipped pretty hard off the open. You can see that big volume bar got as low as 530, has since bounced back, and we're trading at about 560 right now. So some good action in Lunar this morning.
Yeah, it had a big move yesterday. So it's, not too surprising that we're seeing a little bit of selling in that. But this is going to get a couple of NASA contracts, and they'll announce that sometime between now and the end of next month. It's going to be for the near-Earth satellites system and near-Earth communication. So just kind of waiting for that to happen. And then their next launch isn't going to be for a long ways away. They don't have a planned launch until October 2025. So that'll be the next launch catalyst they have.
All right, someone in the chat flagged Chipotle getting a bounce here right off the open. You've basically just gone straight up. We're looking at 1-minute charts. You opened right here at around 52.30. We've since gone up to 52.75. So some strong. Wow, this thing's just climbing, just keeps going higher in Chipotle. I mean, look. Again, not investment, not financial advice. If you've been waiting to kind of buy the dip on Chipotle, of course, the stock plummeted after the CEO announced he was leaving. But really, even before that, this stock has been trading down. You can see, let's see, going back here is where my cursor is now, is where the CEO announced he was leaving for Starbucks, Brian Nickel. Stock went from about 55, dropped all the way down to, where did we get as low? We got as low as 48. Stock's bounced back a little bit since then, but it was already in a downtrend before. if you're waiting for a spot in Chipotle, I don't think this is the worst one in the world. I'm not saying that this is like for sure going up if you buy it today. Of course, I don't know that. I don't have a crystal ball. But what I would say is that, right here, looking at the chart, it looks like you've got some support here. I wouldn't be surprised if you buy this here down at 52, 53 bucks, if this thing is trading back in the 60s within a few months.
I'm kind of on the opposite side of that. I need to see, well, first of all, I need to see them, the price recapture its 200-day SMA. That will only happen once. It happened on the 15th, and it turned around and has been trading lower ever since. We also have a potential death cross coming in a matter of weeks, maybe by the end of this month or early next month. The 50-day SMA is bearing down towards the 200-day SMA, and that usually is a signal that this is going to end up heading lower. It's also kind of giving a bit of a bearish pattern here, kind of a bear pennant, if you will. So to me, I think this may end up going lower before it goes higher. I think you're going to start to see prints under 50 again at some point before it goes up to 60. That's just my opinion, though.
No, I mean, I like having opposite views on it. It's good to have some healthy discussion around that. Let's see. Someone Weiss is looking at BBAI. We were talking about that one earlier. Let's go back and check that one out.
Oh, it broke out.
Moving average. Yep. Oh yeah. All right. Let's go to a 2-minute chart here so we can see this. So yeah, you see that in one 2-minute candle, this thing went up over 5%, came back down a little bit, got bought back up, and then has now retreated down to around 190. You have your high of the day in there at 196, it looks like. So right around its high of the day here for BBAI.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of sell orders in the way between 195 and 205. So this is going to need a lot more volume than what we're getting here to push through all that. But remember, this does have a high short interest, so it could squeeze, but it's just going to have to watch the volume on this one in order to get through those figures I just mentioned.
All right, continuing taking some chips regain upside momentum at the open. Let's go check out. Let's just look at this SOXX. For now, trading up about 1%. You can see here you've got your Nvidias, AMDs, I think all in the green this morning. How's SMCI doing? Ooh, SMCI reclaimed that 600 level. That should be an important one because I know it dipped below 600 there for a minute earlier this week on Monday. I mean, we were trading. I mean, wow, this chart. Let me go to a 1-hour chart. I mean, yeah, you can see this thing got below 500. This thing got down to 473, bought back up to 600 here. I mean, look, I gotta say, I like SMCI too. I'd be buying SMCI and I'd be buying Chipotle. I'm not talking about for day trades here. I'm talking about for like little swing trades. But again, 13, what are your thoughts on SMCI?
SMCI looks like it, since bottoming, it's trying to put in a bit of a bull flag. Now, one thing I can see here is a 20-day SMA has been kind of depressing any breakouts ever since the 15th. Once we do break over that and close over that 20-day SMA, I'd expect to subsequently see the gap fill, the gap that was created from August 1st to August 2nd. That gap fill starts at 636.98 and it fills at 658.58. So I would expect to see a gap fill there upon a breakout and close above the 20-day SMA. That should take us up to at least the 200-day SMA.
All right. CXAI sympathy play for BBAI. Smoke Tuna says CXAI. Looks like we're trading about up 5% here this morning. Let's go down to the 1 or 2 minute chart here. Yeah, just getting some pops here this morning. You can see the strength in those names. What about other industries? What other industries can we check on this one? Let's check on solar, TAN. Pretty flat. I mean, these names have been ugly. You look at your Sunruns. Oh, Sunruns getting a nice little bounce this morning, up 2%. M-Phase, clean energy, kind of been quiet recently for clean energy. Usually, you have some volatile movers there.
Yeah, it's gonna those volatile movers for clean energy. They're gonna probably either run on news of rate changes or individual news that they get. I was trying to see if I could look at a heat map, but I don't. The site that I usually go to does not have any information right now, so that's unfortunate. I was trying to see where we could look and maybe get some more. What happened here? Oh, there you are. Get some more idea of what sectors are moving the most. I'll take a look at CrowdStrike since people are mentioning that one. CRWD. Still think this one tries to get up as far as 300 before we see some resistance. That's CrowdStrike. That's just what I'm looking for with this one.
All righty. We do have some bigger movers this morning too. I know you guys also like to focus on a lot of small caps, but I wanted to check on Target real quick here. Looking at the 2-minute chart for Target, pretty tight trading channel here on the open. Of course, Target trading up 15% after a big earnings report. Macy's on the flip side, trading down, and this thing has continued to get hammered off the open. Opened at about $16, now trading at $15.40. So Macy's down 13% after a lackluster earnings report. And unlike Target, this thing continuing to sell off. Target, you saw kind of just hang out right at its open, but Macy's is continuing to move lower here.
Yeah, Target might spend some time going sideways and create a bit of a floating island, but at the same time, this RSI in Target is kind of extended now. So I'd expect there to be some cooling. Whether we get that or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Target would not be surprised if we end up slightly lower. It's as time goes on, just because it's been pretty extended, and it is extended right now.
All right, keep throwing tickers from the chat, and we'll take a few more from the chat.
Raftjet Technology. That's this was actually getting mentioned yesterday. I think in happy hour. Let me just check the news to make sure that's correct.
Which ticker is that?
GTI.
GTI testing yesterday's highs. Wiss says, let's go ahead and check in on that. Oh, wow. Up 28% on the 2-minute chart here, right off the open. You can see started trading around 293, popped up to about over 350. Let's zoom out a little bit because I want to see yesterday's actions too. Looking on the 30-minute chart here. Where's yesterday? Yesterday is here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you broke out well above yesterday's highs. Yesterday looks like you topped out at around oh wait, no. Okay, so yesterday you hit a high of 360. So you barely got above that today. That'll be an important level to watch. Sorry,
this wasn't the one I think we were talking about. It might have been another graphite play, but this is an interesting move that we're getting here. And when I look at the chart, this thing has just been been suppressed by the 20 and 50-day SMAs. Now above the 20-day SMA, we are facing or potentially facing the second close above it. Still getting that suppression from the 50-day SMA, but as soon as we close above that, that could signal that we are starting to reverse here, and we could end up pushing higher. But that remains to be seen. We are also moving off of some pretty significant relative volume from yesterday.
There you go. Someone in the chat wants to check out Hood, good old Robin Hood here. Let's take a look at Hood's chart. I haven't looked at the stock in a while. I'm going to guess 19.5. Oh, 1985. That was a pretty good guess. All right. Robin Hood. Let's go to the 2-minute chart here so we can see off the open. Wow. Some volatile trading in Robin Hood. Dropped down to about 950 here right off the open. Bounced straight back up to 1985. So looking there at Hood. See if it can, stay above this open level is what I would be watching. If it comes back to the downside, you obviously have that low of the day at 1950 to watch. If it breaks below that, could be some more pain to the downside. If it can hold above this open price, then Hood could be interesting. I mean, just taking a look at the chart a little bit. So yeah, I mean, this recovery story for Hood has been great. Dropped down to below $15 on Monday. What was do you know what that was on 13?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Do you know if this was on like a headline or something with Robinhood where it dropped so quickly down to below $15 a couple weeks ago and then came all the way back up to 20?
Give me the day and give me the day and I'll figure it out because I don't really watch Robinhood that much. But what day
around
was it?
August 5th.
Oh, okay. Well, that was when the market was already selling off, and
you're right. That was the yen carry trade Black Monday. That I sold all my stocks and then they were all higher the next day. No, I didn't actually sell everything. That's the most. I mean, that's honestly the biggest part. If you're holding, I know most of you guys watching are just kind of traders, but if you're an investor, I mean, a lot of traders have investing accounts too. If you're an investor, there will be those days, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, where the market is giving you every single reason to sell all your stocks. Mm-hmm. But more times than not, if you don't do that, you're going to be better off. I mean, there are days where, I mean, like when COVID hits, like when the market crashed, that if you would have sold all your stocks the first day the market started trading down, boom, they kept going down another 20%. But at the end of the day, if you held on, you still would have been up either way. So, I mean, it's hard when you're actually investing to hold on to losers like that. All right, continuing to look at the chat here. Someone was asking for SoFi going off the open here, 2-minute candle. Pretty much straight down off the open for SoFi. This stock has been just not in favor. Other
Rev
stocks.
B is getting, sorry.
I was going to say Brad. Brad wants to look at EOSE. Looks like Brad's on a boat somewhere. I'm a little jealous of Brad. EOSE. I don't really know much about this company. I believe a clean tech play. Let's take a look here at the chart. Off the open, up, moving higher. I like this setup. I think EOS right now could be a favorable. I mean, you look at this, it looks like you hit a level down at 180. Buyers were ready to come in, came and scooped it up. Now back above $2. We've talked about those psychological round numbers. I say EOSE is a buy down here.
There's some news about EOSE. You have one of the directors that took a 3,000 share position, which isn't too significant, but it's
insider buys. We love insider
buy. They got a buy rating by Stifel. They gave it a $6 price target, so 3 times as much from here.
Six target from Stifel. That's a significant. I mean, that's a 200% upside here on EOS. I mean, you can see here in our Benzinga Pro analyst trends, all giving it buy ratings. Brad, shout out Brad for bringing this stock to my attention. I've never, no one else has put me onto this company, but Brad in the chat, EOSE. I'm gonna have to take a stab at this one today.
It has a 20% of the float shorted and 5.64 days to cover. So that is a short squeeze candidate. Looking at the financials, this is where things don't look so great. Their balance sheet is, for lack of a better word, awful. They have a lot of debt and they don't make money. They have not turned a profit. So this is one of those day trade only stocks. I don't know that I'd be holding this one, especially if it isn't capable of turning a profit. They barely have any revenue as well. So that's a big thing with me when I go long for a long-term period. I don't want to go long on something that's already in the red.
Got it. Well, yeah, looks like Jay is agreeing with you. Jay says EOSE garbage. Oh boy, 6K insider buy, which that's fair. Not that significant of an insider buy. Brad gave us some more color on his boat pick. He's taking a ferry from Alameda to San Francisco. So I've been on some boats out there in San Francisco. So, all right, moving on from EOSE, GOVX. This was one of the MPOX plays that we've been watching. So GOVX here, getting a nice bounce back today after selling off yesterday. I gotta agree with Jay on this one as well, that you're probably a little late on the MPOX plays at this point.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking for something, volatile to trade, a lot of these names will still be, well beyond where they were trading at a few days ago, which should increase volatility.
Just scalping at that point with these, because that whole move is over. And this is not going to be anything near like what we got with COVID, just not even close. So don't even think this is a really big issue at all. I know the WHO has already made it they made a big scare about it with their announcement. So I just don't think that this is any significance. I think bird flu the outbreak we're having over here in the U.S. is more significant than what's going on with Mpox over an entirely different ocean.
JetBlue. I haven't checked out JetBlue in a while. I was just saying this the other day. I mean, all these airlines, the stocks are just such pieces of crap in general. I mean, I don't really understand why, because it seems like everyone I talk to is, going on trips and flying different places. And yet these airlines can just never perform in the stock market. There's always better investment opportunities out there. JetBlue looks like what was on. All right, I'm going to ask the chat again. What happened on last Friday? I guess let's go in our pro and see.
I can tell you with some of these foreign airlines is that they're pulling out of flights to China for a couple of reasons. One, travel demand to China is very, very low now. And the other is that it's very expensive it's becoming more expensive to reroute flights around Russian airspace. So you have Qantas, Virgin, British Airways. They've all made plans to either pull out, have already pulled out suspended flights, or they are suspending them in October. So it seems like travel demand in general is starting to dry up, especially since the summer is over, and really the only people out there that are going to be taking any trips are going to be the retirees that have money.
It looks like, and this is what makes Benzinga Pro so convenient. As I was looking at the chart, I see this big drop on Monday. I can't really tell. On Monday, August 12th. I go into Benzinga Pro. I go to the overview. It tells me right here the date. I look at it Monday. JetBlue announces pricing of a $400 million offering. So obviously, once the company starts doing some dilution, the shares are going to come down a little bit. So JetBlue has moved lower off of that offering. And now today looks like moved lower off the open as well. So $4.73. We'll see if it's been in an uptrend since it hit a low of about $4.50. So JetBlue, something to watch. If you're just trading it, I don't really know, 13, maybe you have some insights into this chart, but I just don't love holding the airline stocks.
Yeah, I don't think they're worth a hold right now. They need to get beaten up a lot more before they become an interesting trade, in my opinion.
All right, continuing to take some tickers from the chat. AMD, which of course traded higher by more than 4% on Monday after announcing an acquisition of a data server AI company to help take on Nvidia. AMD pretty flat this morning. We looked at some of the other chip names a few minutes ago, but AMD traded lower off the open. Looks like you got down to around 150.50 and then bounced back higher to around 156, but now it's just kind of in this range. Or sorry, 158 it almost got up to this morning, but now just kind of in this range in the 156 zone. So AMD, I mean, the chips will always be, volatile compared to other names in the market. So should be a fun trading instrument today.
162 appears to be a bit of a level for AMD. I've had that marked off for a while, and we tested that yesterday and came back in. Still trading underneath the 200-day SMA and still getting rejected by it. It needs to start closing over the 200-day SMA if I'm going to feel good about this going higher. Until that happens, it does look like it's going to be sideways for a little bit, stuck between the 250-day SMAs.
Chipotle testing its high of the day. We talked about this one, said it had some good positive momentum. You did have a dip down there where it got down to around $52.50, but has bounced back up to around $53. So Chipotle definitely on my list to watch today, watching Starbucks as well. Starbucks caught a downgrade from whom? From whomst. It was from, I believe, DZ, chat, help me out. Starbucks got a downgrade this morning, but not by a very significant bank, so I don't think we cared that much about that. But Starbucks, of course, you zoom out to the 30-minute chart, you can see we're still trading well up after that announcement of Brian Niccol leaving Chipotle for Starbucks. So that high of that move got to around $97. So if you wanted to play Starbucks to the upside, I think that'd be my price target, is right about here, $97. But down here doesn't look like the worst entry point in the world, just because it looks like we've hit some consolidation right around $92-ish. So, and of course, if you break below that, boom, put a stop loss, you're out. You could have a very defined risk. And then again, that $5 upside to around $97.
Yeah, it's a very big move in Starbucks for a CEO who, for, a lack of a better way to describe it, got very lucky when he joined Chipotle. A lot of been hearing from people that work in the company directly underneath him that he came in at a great time because Chipotle was already turning around. So there's one talent I think this CEO has. It's getting in at a time when a company is starting to turn around. So we might be seeing Starbucks turn around if his ability holds true. So we'll see if that happens. Starbucks currently at 92.82, down off of the high from of 96 when we got that news.
Looks like we've got some data coming out in 10 minutes, or sorry, not 10 minutes, 3 minutes. Thank you to whoever flagged that in the chat. Bureau of Labor of Statistics revised U.S. employment growth. So a revision of employment growth coming in at 10 a.m. Oh no, sorry. That was yesterday. Okay. Come on. Someone's trying to mess with me. We don't got that. Do we have data coming in 5 minutes? That was yesterday.
No, it should be the revisions today. Here, I'll tell you exactly what the title is in just 1 second.
Oh, my Lanta.
It is the preliminary benchmark revision to establishment survey data that is being released today at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Beautiful. I don't know. My calendar, I'll show you. Well, I don't need to show. What I was looking at has the only thing on it is the 2 p.m. minutes of Fed's July FOMC meeting, which apparently people are going to care about today. I know we don't normally care about the minutes that much. All right. Well, I'll stick around while that data comes out. Let's see. Any other tickers from the chat? Wiss is looking at REVB. We're looking at Revelation Biosciences. Wow, up 120% this morning. What was the news we have here?
No news.
No news. Just a pre-market runner that has continued into the session. Let's go to the 2-minute chart here. I mean, wow, very, basically straight down off the open to around $1.90. And then since then, it has been buy. And it has gone all the way up to around 265, traded off a little bit down to 230. So this 230 level, I would want to see if I would want to make sure it doesn't give up all these gains on that last run back to 180. Because again, you're already up 120%. There's going to be people that were in this stock before the move. Probably not a lot, but there are going to be some people that were holding this yesterday, day before, etc., that might start taking some profits at some point, because you did have this huge spike up, as you can see. But this stock has seen a big spike before, not too long ago. Oh, that was yesterday, and then has since come down. So definitely something to watch here, but I would be a little skeptical of this one.
With Rev B, every time it tries to get up above VWAP, it just gets slapped down. It creates these large upper shadows, and I think a lot of it has to do with the consolidation from the pre-market. It's trying to trade into a lot of sideways action. Tends to be a lot of sellers up in there. So I think that's what we're seeing with this one. If the buyers can take out all the sellers that are putting downside pressure on the stock, this thing could get back over 3. But we just don't have seem to have the volume right now. Clean Slate mentioning RR is running, and Aramis is mentioning that VRAX is halted. VRAX is also moving relative with the MPOX plays. So that is popping here. That got over the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That broke out of a level I had here at 375. Interesting movement here with VRAX.
I don't see the data coming through. I haven't gotten it yet, or maybe it's just not maybe I have my importance level too high and it's not that significant. So let me know in the chat if anything, because taking a look at
VRAX open.
Which is back open?
VRAX open, popped up to 412 and sinking.
Oh, you did get a little pop off this, whatever data did come out at 10 a.m. As the SPY popped up to 50, 560, 85, has since come down a little bit. But wow, I mean, the market is just so strong right now. All right, I see Zunaid is back. I'm going to hand it back over to Z-Man. Thanks for letting me fill in, guys. Always having fun.
Thanks, Bree.
Hopping on this show. I'll see you guys later.
See you, baby. Thank you for filling in for me. I appreciate it. Taking a look at the SPY here. Yesterday's high has been touched on that data release and straight up rejected just like that. The 560.86 level with the smackdown all the way. And I say all the way, it's only 50 cents down. But that's why you got to look left, see what was happening, see what the price action said, and you get an idea where you may want to take your trades. Speaking of which, I was on that call. It was a great call. It was the best call I've ever had. I feel like I'm going to do that bit for the rest of my life now. But you had TGT. We talked about taking this trade at the 165 area. We got it. I think we ended up selling it right around only for like, a point or so profit. And I'm glad, because then it came right back down. I do have an order out to purchase it at 161, by the way. Just a heads up on TGT. Do you take any trades yet?
I have traded BBAI. That was doing the best trade so far today.
Big Bear AI. Okay. Well, look, something to kind of note here is if you're looking to go short, you got to wait for this 165 to break. Other than that, I think you've got, resistance here at $2. You had it here. Obviously, you spiked up in the morning, but then afterwards you had resistance at the open market. You had resistance, call it the 196 area. If it gets above 2, that could get interesting there. But where'd you take it? Sorry.
Well, I picked it up at the open and just waited for it to test that 170 area, and it took off. And I got out at 185.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
It was quick,
cool,
15,
cool.
Quick 15 cents. And that's, I haven't really been trading this much this morning. Some of these other ones that we were mentioning, they just haven't been looking very good. I mean, I mentioned how SMFL had been, it popped and then it dropped and it's been going down. I've been looking at that to find some support around the 65 EMA, which I currently have at 165. So it's starting to turn around. That one looks like it might provide a trade, but not really interested in jumping into that one quite yet.
You've also got Nvidia that might look to test this trend line here. See how that one goes. Kava earnings tomorrow. Who reports? I got to look at who reports today.
Let's take a look here.
Let me see.
After hours, we have Zoom is one of them. Wolf. Well, that's not the Wolf. That's the crypto trader. It's a different one.
Snowflake as well.
Yeah, I see. There it is. Urban Outfitters. So that'll give us a bit of a read on, I think, the consumer. Not familiar with some of these other ones, though. Looks like a bank, an Argentinian bank. Not a whole lot of after hours reporting.
Okay, let me take a look here.
Take a look at the reporting in the morning. Baidu reports in the morning. I think there's going to be, a lot of people that are interested in trying to trade China after all the weakness that it's had. They'll probably want to look at that one. Viking Holdings could be interesting. There's some here that Weibo might be Ehang. That's a drone, not a drone, but a flying car play. So some of these are just, a lot of them seem to be like foreign companies. Advanced Auto Parts maybe would be interesting. So no really big names.
Snow and Zoom are the ones that kind of come to mind for me. Yeah. What's interesting here with Kava is the $100, and which is so look. Let's kind of go back and take a look at this because again, obviously, I've been taking a look at Kava here in a minute. But you've got the $100, the whole number right there. You had resistance again 2 days ago. Popped up, held a support, and you got a chance to go ahead and play it. Because if I would have played this, I might have gotten stopped out, though. I don't know. Not here. I would have made money on it. No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have hit my profit target. Because my profit target would have been at least 50 cents first and that. So disregard what I'm saying because it wouldn't have worked. I would have taken an L on this trade. I want to be very transparent about that if I did take it. But you can see the $100 was trying to figure out which way it wanted to go. Now, as you get closer and closer to 100, it ends up wanting to get rejected by that as well. Here is Apple looking to approach the 227.85 area. It did have previous resistance here at the July 22nd. So we'll see if that ends up getting pushed through or not. Let's take a look at TGT again. Still down on that one. So you can see how the previous, you had resistance, you popped up, kind of held the support, but not too cleanly above VWAP. I'd be interested to see if it does go ahead and come on back down to the 161 area.
One thing I'm seeing on the SPY here that's kind of interesting is about 5 minutes ago, we popped up to the high from yesterday, and then we were turned around. So just kind of an interesting thing I just noticed. The high being 560 and change, like let's call it 560.80. That's about where we got up to this morning. We got up to 560.85. So seems to be some sellers right about that level in SPY.
And so Elon is asking, hey, Zainade, any more hood? Even crowd keeps crapping up and downside risk on an S guidance. I still own my Robinhood $20 calls in January. I am very fortunate that we got this bounce back from $14. Like, God, man. Maybe I should have purchased some there. Honestly, I didn't. But yeah, that's what I've got on Hood, waiting for this break above 2063 if it does end up happening on that side.
Yeah, I see you guys mentioning SDIG, and I see that it is creeping up a little bit. This was also getting acquired by Bitfarms. So if you're able to make a little bit in here, go for it. But I don't really think there's a whole lot of upside here. I think we're kind of near the top of where. Well, I guess the buyout is supposed to represent about $6.02 a share. So I guess there is still meat on the bone. But why it's not up there already, I'd be questioning that.
What's the ticker?
It's SDIG. Usually when you see these mergers and it's definitive, you get an actual amount attached to what the share price of the company that's getting acquired is going to be.
What's the price point of the acquisition, share-wise?
It's supposed to be $6.02.
Oh, okay. So we're about maybe...
Stronghold shareholders to receive 2.52 shares of Bitfarm for each of their shares. So it's more of a stock transaction. And that represents a share of $6.02 per share. So they're getting, if you're going to hold this, you're going to get Bitfarm shares, 2.52 shares of Bitfarm for each share. And that's that's the amount that's represented. So
mother of God, did I not just...
What did you do?
Okay, bro. My order on target was 161.20. Okay, 161.20 is my order on target. The low of this candle that I just made was 161.26. So I missed my entry by 6 points, and it already reached my profit target 1, which was of $1. And then on my second one would have been $1 above that, and then VWAP ultimately. Wow. Well, I will cancel this trade. All right. I have canceled the trade. I did not get a chance to get into it. I missed the entry by 6 cents.
You had everything right there. Yep. I think that was a great setup. You had everything. I think you did great on that one. Even if you didn't fill, that was the whole idea was perfectly right there. Just sometimes the price will actually get down to where your order is and not fill because there's so many other other traders.
It's because all of our viewers here have $1 million accounts that are just buying it. They're like, Zaid has it at 162.20, 162.22. Got it. So say less. Done.
I think the frustration should be limited because I think you had it absolutely nailed that right there. It just didn't fill.
It just did not fill. No, it did not. But that's all right. That's cool. That's okay. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, again, I've canceled the trade because it's already kind of done it, right? The more it bounces like a tennis ball, I think it could end up breaking. That's not a good example, but you get the point. And disgusting. But the reason I took it, hopefully you guys understand, like 13 was saying, pre-market support here to this level, which is why I wanted it. We'll see how and which way it goes. The rest of it.
Guys mentioning neon to me, and that's so I don't know how high this one goes. I guess we'd have to look at previous levels, but after winning the Samsung case, this is really moving up. One thing I'm on right now is BBAI. That's trying to push through the intraday highs here, which I have at about 196. So just continuing to rise my stop with this one. I'm in at
what was the ticker?
This is BBAI.
Oh, I was like, what are you trading? Okay. Cool. And again, on this one, we had support at 165. Did not quite touch it at the live session, so can't say much there. We'll see if it ends up breaking. Let's see. You've got resistance at the 196, $2 area. If it goes, it goes. Let's check out BT.
Yes.
You've got resistance here, which we're coming up to here at about 374. That's yesterday's high. Rejected quite sharply.
Yeah, this is... they had some really good earnings earlier this week, and they I think they also acquired a company, or there was some other news attached to that. Let me see if I can find it. But BT has been doing really well this week.
By the way, if you guys haven't signed up for the trading competition, highly recommend that you do. I will be taking part in it. We'll be creating content from it. It's 100% free to enter, and you get a chance to win up to $30,000. And that's Benzinga's trading competition that is powered by TradeZero, whose platform we're going to use for the trading competition. So if you haven't yet, join myself and some of our other traders It'll be fun. I think we go live here in about a couple of weeks or so, and they actually have something new that they want to talk about on September 1st. So you'll be one of the first ones to check that out.
With BTBT, in addition to their sales, the other thing that was helping lift their stock was their the announcement of a term binding sheet with Boosteroid, which is a new HPC customer, and that agreement represents a revenue opportunity of $700 million over a 5-year period. So future revenue is also really good news for BTBT, and that's another reason why it continues to move, in my opinion. Also has some interesting short interest here. 18.5% of the float is shorted. Only 1.92 days to cover, so it's not going to be what we're looking for in a short squeeze candidate, but it is getting a slight pinch here from that short interest. BBAI, after that did not take off like I was looking for. It might still go, but stopped out of there for a tiny gain. Just playing it safe with these.
So when you say tiny gain, I assume it didn't hit your stop loss because
it did hit my stop loss, and I got
out. So did you move it up?
Yeah, when it starts going up, I raise, so I don't lose on these trades.
So walk me through, if you don't mind, where was your entry on BBAI?
When it was getting support from the VWAP, I went in at 185, and I just was waiting for it to move up. And as soon as that started happening and it started getting up into the 190s, I raised my stop to 5 cents to 190. When it got dropped down, it stopped me out. So didn't really make the move I was looking for, but I didn't lose on it either. So that was just how I was protecting myself, because these thin names, they will knife, and they will knife hard. So just trying to make sure that I'm protecting myself, especially when you have low volume like this. It's not the greatest setup. It looked like the pattern was there and that the volume was about to expand. It just didn't materialize. And so when things don't go my way, I make sure I have my stop in place in case it does what it's doing right now.
Makes perfect sense. And you've got someone in the chat, Tony, talking about Rev B.
Yep, there's another one. Revelation
Bioscience.
Yeah, this is the one that we were also talking about this morning. This one might actually make a better move than BBAI. What we were talking about with this one when AB was on was how every time it pops up and tries to gets over the VWAP, it gets smacked down by a whole bunch of sellers that are in this consolidation from this pre-market area here. That's happened twice already. It happened 5 minutes ago, but it seems now that we've closed above VWAP on the 5-minute chart that we're starting to expand the volume a little bit more. We're probably going to end up getting through, chew through this consolidation. There's a big wall of sell orders at 260 it has to go through, but as this volume continues, it looks like it's going to chew through that. So it's just something I'm watching for right now. And we're also getting some EMAs about to cross VWAP as well, which is also another bearish bullish signal.
You've also got the SPY that made new lows for the day. SPY hit about the, 559, 10-ish, give or take, to the downside on the SPY.
It's crazy because I was just talking about how it popped up to the intraday high yesterday, and that was also the same spot where the market reversed and never looked back. So it's doing the same thing again that it did yesterday. If you go to a small time frame, you can see what I'm talking about, where it popped up
on the SPY.
Yeah, on the SPY. Just go to any smaller time frame. I prefer the 5-minute, but you can do whatever you want.
I got the 5.
And you can see that at about 10 o'clock, we hit the high for the day and came back in. Now that high was 560.84, and the high today was 560.85.
Yep. So take a look left.
Yep, exactly.
Take a look left. So Walter, someone asked, Travis asked if there was news. Walter goes, well, the news comes after the move. And you're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong.
Here's a great reason why I stopped out when I did with BBAI, because there is knifing. So that I would chalk that up as a not a good trade that I did there. But because I protected myself at the stop, I'm not in the down here wishing I had a stop.
You've also got GDC looking to kind of continue its move to the upside. I believe it made high a day just a couple of minutes ago. Right there, you can see it made high a day. Not sure how I would personally trade this one, but you did have Market Sniper calling this one out. And Elon, you talked about how you're not good enough to be a part of the trading competition. Well, that's actually exactly what it's for. Is you get a chance to kind of just hang out, kick it with us, be a part of that competition. Obviously, it kind of helps us out. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a sponsorship that we have. But I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be a fun one. I'm excited for them to announce their news that they have coming out, hopefully on September 1st. I don't know the exact date, but some good things happening there. You've got AMD. AMD, maybe if it breaks this area about 154, you might get a chance to knock on the doors of 152 and then also 150s as well.
Mentioning GDC, the chat, if this continues to move, I can definitely see a 3 print today. How much higher above 3 it goes, I don't think it's going to be too much. There is a 500-day SMA in the way there at 307. I think, and that's also kind of lining up with where we got some price action from the left that kind of consolidated at. So I think maybe just above 3, we could see some reversing if we get up there. Also getting, Tony mentioning SMFL, he's in at 190. Yeah, it's starting to curl. It looks like it, and MACD is also showing the same. The thing about this is that we just need to see that volume expand so we can push through these sell orders that are shown up here on the order book. And you've got a lot of size at 204, 205, 207, 210. Need that volume to expand. So far, so good. It's looking like it's pushing up. So fingers crossed, Tony. I hope this works out for you. It's looking okay so far. Just got to get through all that supply.
Cool. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So there's Nvidia. Obviously, the SPY kind of coming down a little bit helped it face the rejection. Didn't it completely touch it before it came back down?
Yeah, Nvidia could just continue to run into earnings. I kind of think that's what we're going to end up seeing.
Let me put on some tunes in the back. What do you think? Show Me the Money, Trendy Hip Hop, or Red Gamba?
Are these the titles of your playlists?
These are titles that I see here. I don't know who uploaded them. I'm just saying I see them. You know what I mean?
I guess Show Me the Money. I'm kind of curious to hear what that sounds
like. That's a little loud. I apologize.
If that's all that is, then maybe not.
What can we just go to Cha-Cha?
Put this playlist together.
Yeah, we'll just go to Trendy Hip Hop. My apologies if I blew some ears out. My apologies. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I'm the new guy here.
That was
funny. Let's go back to Rev B.
Rev B. VRAX, that also looks like that one is trying to go higher here. Intraday high at 430, looking to break that. Yeah, Rev B, that is moving up to the pre-market high of 320. Yeah, 320. It has an after-hours high of 373. So let's focus on that 320 first. Let's get up there. We're pretty close.
It could be close. I've got pre-market at about 375. I think it was like right when it opened.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. That is. I'm sorry. I don't have that separator, so
it's all good.
And we're suspended now. We're halted.
Oh, halted to the upside. 308 REBB revving up.
I would gamble that it's probably going to get 320, but got to be careful with these halts. It could open, pop up, and then just absolutely drop.
Let's see what ends up happening here. Let's go ahead and check out. Let's see here, TGT. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't get my entry. Oh my God. It's okay. It's okay. Life happens. It's okay. It's okay because I would have risked $1, or excuse me, I would have risked $2. No, I would have risked $1. Sorry. Where is
Rev B and MPOX play? I don't think it is. Let me look because I don't think this was moving on any news. I think it was kind of relative volume from a Form 8 that was filed yesterday in relation to their prospectus they had earlier filed. Yeah, man. I don't think this is anything to do with monkeypox, but because it's a biotech, it's probably, you're going to see some relationship movement. That's about the best I'd say. But it was already moving on earlier this morning on something else. So I don't think this is a monkeypox trade.
I don't know if this is, I don't know how true this news is, but you have a stock news update saying FFIE declared bankruptcy, game over, shorted. Again, no clue if this is true. I have not looked it up or anything like that, but the stock is popping. So, take that for what you will. ASTS. Gregory, I always see you on Twitter. I appreciate you joining. You're always welcome to come over to the YouTube side if you'd like, but I appreciate you watching the show. talking about ASTS.
Yeah. ASTS has been the big thing with this is that they have a launch happening. I think it's either the first or second week of September. They're launching a satellite cluster system similar to Starlink. That's going to be used by Verizon and AT&T and a number of telecoms carriers to reach rural customers. So ASTS has been very, very popular lately because that launch is going to be something special, but it's going to be a big special sell the news event, in my opinion. I think we're going to see that stock absolutely crater once that thing launches. And it doesn't matter if it's successful or not. Once the rocket's in the air, I think it's time to sell. We have the BLS number out, the revision. Unemployment rose 1.3% in the year through March 2024. I'll have to look at that report later, see if there's anything special in there. Glad I got out of BBAI when I did. That's why you have stops.
Yep. BBAI was that? Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. So look, we talked about the support area from the after hours and pre-market being 165. Now, if I took this trade, right, I would have probably given it 10 cents, I would say. And I'm curious to see if it'll come back to at least about, say, the 174-ish or not on BBAI. But getting a little bit of a scalp opportunity on BBAI at the 165 support area from pre-market and the after hours of yesterday.
Interestingly, it bounced off the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
My man, appreciate you. Born to be free. By the way, I know I've said this before, and there's certain things that I'm unfortunately not able to talk about yet. And I'm not saying that because I want to seem cool. It's just because I'm figuring life out. But, you know, the trading competition should be a fun one. You guys are welcome to kind of follow me on Twitter. My @ is MadeX I keep saying 13 that I want to like post charts, maybe a newsletter, whatever. But like, I just don't know how time consuming that could be, you know? I don't know. Especially if I have a day job. If I don't have a day job.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I'll tell you right now, I post a lot of charts in the happy hour chat, and you do spend quite a bit of time just staring at screens. So
yeah,
not too productive until you actually see something that's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys are welcome to join me there. I might be announcing something by September 6th or so. In the works, should be fun. Life is always surprising.
Shaka, you've been on shot for a few days now. You've been doing great. This is off of earnings, so there's no other news. Just moves up on no news all week, right? After earnings.
Yeah.
You had earnings on Friday, and it's just been. Let me get a measurement here. See how successful you've been here, my man. Ever since that Friday close, let's look at right there. It has gone up 17%. Well done.
We talked about whole numbers earlier, so I got to bring it back. You have whole number of $1 that kind of held up so well. Right there, right? Bounced. And look at that, though. This is what I was mentioning by like the tennis ball, where you have a bounce, then it gets lower, and then you crack. Yep. Keep an eye on $1. If this gets to $1 intraday, I think it is a short opportunity. My risk off would be about, say, $1.10. So you're risking 11 cents to maybe make to 11 cents or to, get like a little one-to-one aspect of it as well. Born to be free, I do appreciate you signing up for the competition. I really do. Thank you. If you have any issues, man, hit me up. This is Nate at benzinga.com. If for some reason that doesn't work, you can hit me up at on Twitter. ON. Let's see.
On. Oh, that's a clothing retailer, right?
Let's see.
Yes, sports brand apparel. This is a competitor with Lululemon and Nike.
Dude, Nike. So was it Bill Ackman that went ahead and took a position?
I don't remember who.
I believe it was Bill Ackman who took a position in Nike. I mean, this thing was just punished after earnings. I mean, the low was like $69. I was personally waiting for 67 to start buying on Nike. You can see with my support level that I've drawn here that at the interim probably moved. It obviously never got there. Continued to just make higher highs. And then, of course, you had this big movement, which I believe is where news might have come out that he took a position. Very violent morning move. Which direction will it end up? Who kind of knows? I sure don't.
Well,
but yeah, you're kind of just in this range. Like, what? How big is this range since the open?
Well,
13.
Here's the thing. It's been kind of going sideways ever since it popped up into the 80s handle here. It's getting some support from the 50-day SMA, and it's trading between like 80 and 85. I have had those levels marked off. So I think we're going to probably see some consolidation for a little bit. It is pretty extended here. The RSI is almost at 70, which is going to be overbought territory, but it's still just hanging sideways here for a bit. I think that at some point it's going to have to come back in and test 80 for some confirmation that it could go higher. The breakout level for me is going to be 85, and then we can talk about filling the rest of the gap that it was created back on June 27th to 28th.
All right.
But anyway, we were talking about on. Let's go back to
yeah, you're good.
So what this said this is moving with target.
TGT. If it hits BWAP, I'm gonna cry. If this thing hit BWAP, oh my god.
And it needs to kind of break out here because otherwise we're putting in a bit of a double top. So I'd want to see it. I'd want to see it get up to 45, and kind of close up there. That'd be one of the better case scenarios. All right, so how are we looking here with these other movers? ASTS taking off again. Well, here's the thing. We were talking about this yesterday between ASTS and Lunar. It seems like it's when one does good, the other's getting rotated out of. So the ASTS gets because they're both pretty much space plays. Yeah. Now, if one while one's getting rotated out of, that's the signal I think to look at the other one, and vice versa. We saw that yesterday when ASTS was selling off. Guess what was making some big gains? Lunar.
LUNR, is that what it is?
LUNR. Yep.
Totally guessing the ticker there, but okay. I thought the company's name was like Lunar, and therefore I just assumed the ticker was LUNR.
No, this is the one that had that spacecraft land on the moon, tip over, and continued to do its mission.
Oh, from a while back. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a few months ago, I believe. Yeah. So that's Lunar, and ASTS. That's the one that has the satellite clusters going into space next month, which is interesting too because they're supposed to be launched up into space on a SpaceX rocket, so kind of helping their competitor there. Yeah, I was just making out with the space dust. That's all, Shaka. Getting a mention on T2. I think it's TTWO. Let's take a look and see what's going on with that one. So this is popping. This is a video game company. I guess it's moving up on some price targets. Got Wedbush saying 190 and Benchmark saying 210. And it's ways away from there. And yesterday we closed above the 200-day SMA for the first time since July 24th, coming up to a resistance level put in by June 25th. That high was 160.72. So we get to 160 into that handle somewhere, we could see some resistance. Just make sure you stay clear-eyed about that. But if this keeps moving, next resistance level appears to be somewhere up in the 168 handle.
So on Rev B, it went ahead and opened up. You mentioned that, hey, it could hit 320. It did. It hit all the way up to 350s, and then it kind of spiked on down to about the 275. So that one opened. Upside, downside is where we're at on that. You also have COSM that went ahead and unhalted. Again, touched, or did it unhalt, or what was the situation? Yeah, this one just looks like a mess. Upside, downside, who knows which way this is going to go.
Stock news update. I think we got that earlier too by FFIE. So I haven't seen that come across in the feed.
I would appreciate it if you're spamming that stock news. I would appreciate it if you didn't. If
Yeah,
you are,
well,
not accusing
I'm-
you of anything. Just
All
saying.
I'm saying is if there's like a link or something that we could see where it's saying that, because I don't see that in the news feed here. But if you have like some kind of article or something you could direct us to, that'd be helpful so we could kind of see this news we're getting. Let me see if I can Google it. Because I don't, yeah, I'm not seeing anything recent. So anything you could provide us would be helpful, I think.
Just a bot. Yeah, if they post the same exact thing again, I will kick them.
Sure it is. Just trying to,
Oh,
trying to
wait,
give you
they
some
did
love.
post it twice. Yeah, no, we gotta. Bye. Sorry, friend. Put you in timeout. How about that? Put you in timeout. Hopefully you'll stop. Want to give everybody a chance. By the way, at 3 o'clock, wow. At 11 o'clock, so in less than 30 minutes, we will have Ben and his team come on from Story Trading to talk about more trading ideas for y'all to take a look at. So just a heads up on that.
Now, as far as ASTS goes, remember we put in some highs. Let's see, I guess the highest high was yesterday. We hit 38.99. Why don't we just round it up and call it 39? 39 is the resistance level for ASTS, and we are less than $4 away from there. So kind of building a bit of maybe a bull pennant pattern. We'll have to wait and see. It hasn't fully materialized yet. This could end up, being something different later on. So just keep that level in mind. Pretty far away from its 20-day SMA, which is currently at 23.28. So far from moving average, a return to the mean could also be something that happens with this as well. You killed Red BJ's life? Well, it had to die sometime, I guess. Nothing is forever. Looks like BBAI still getting that support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Not able to quite get back above 171 and hold. Possibly could return to VWAP. With the way volume's looking right now, I don't think that it really gives me a lot of confidence that it will. We'll have to wait and see with that one. SMFL, that has been struggling to get back above 2. Longer it hangs out up here near its VWAP, the more I'd be interested to see if it can actually push above VWAP and stay there. So let's see if that can happen. Otherwise, it's probably going to end up coming back down to the 172 area. All right, so Red B, what are you doing? That was a nasty engulfing candle. Soundhound's going sideways. What are we looking at, folks? Looking at GDC, says Jay's Life. GDC. That one's still slowly pushing up. I think we also talked about that one earlier, and I mentioned something. Okay, so here we go. I was mentioning earlier that this could end up trading up over 3, hitting the 500-day SMA and maybe seeing some resistance. We are right there. I have the 500-day SMA at 307. We are at 307, now 309, so we're trading slightly above it. Pushing higher. Let's see if I can hold that. I would think that even if it does go higher, we're probably going to end up trading back beneath it. So this might be an opportunity to take some gains in this one. Trade this how you will. I'm not on this one. If you guys got orders working on it, you're doing great. Just keep in mind that we could see it pull back underneath that 500-day SMA. Look at that thing go. It's going to halt. It's going to halt. It's going to halt. It's going to halt.
Well, let's see if it kind of here. You've got, yeah, looks like it might already be halted. There you go.
There it is.
All right, that's the third halt that we've seen here today.
Great job, Jay's Life, and whoever else is trading that. Fubo trying to get back to the 210 intraday high that it had. VRAX, as long as it continues to hold VWAP, it seems like this could still turn around and challenge that 430 intraday high, but I want to see it get back into the 4 handle. Yeah, who knows, Cressy?
Go ahead.
They're gonna fluff it. I'm sure they are. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was just thinking about something totally random. I don't know if you guys have gotten into like the prediction markets chat at all, but I've gotten into them as far as the past 2 months. And dude, I was over here. And by the way, again, this isn't about politics. This is about predictive markets. But when the RNC was happening, I was trying to predict what speeches would involve what words. With the DNC happening, I bet on like what words would be mentioned when Biden spoke, when Obama spoke last night. And it's just so interesting how you can bet on just about anything in today's world. It's unfortunate. It can be addictive. So please, be careful and mindful. But like, there's never been this many opportunities to lose your money. Like, yeah. I bet last night that Obama would say, Michelle, Affordable Care Act, Joe Biden, like all these like obvious things. Obviously, the prices are juiced up as well because the world knows that he'll mention it. But it's just interesting.
Gamification of the market.
Amen to that.
Were you using a particular website to place those bets? Because I know there's a lot of websites out there that will let you just bet on pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think there's different ones. I think Predictit is one that I believe is regulated in the U.S. Polymarket is another one. Again, not marketing, not sponsored. Please don't like. I'm just saying what I as an individual do. Predictit is regulated in the U.S. I believe. Do your own due diligence. But I was just
Great call on Cosmos, COSM. This is seeing some big moves here. They hold distribution rights for Virax, Biolabs, Mpox. So this is an Mpox play. So it looks like there's potential future revenue here because they retained exclusive rights to distribute Mpox virus, PRC detection kits in Greece and Cyprus, with non-exclusive rights across Europe. So,
exclusive rights sounds fancy. Mm-hmm. I think you've got resistance. You're at the 150, so the whole number. You might face some resistance there and a rejection possibly. Well, 165 is where you had resistance back in December of 2023. Bet on hope. I did bet on hope. The one that I did lose was I bet on Yes We Can. I did lose on that one. There was even a silly bet where it was like, oh, will he say thank you more than 7 times? And he did, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I was there like a total loser at the age of 34, and I was like, thank you. He said it once, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's another one. Wait, was that a thank you? And I'm over here counting because that's what my life was last night. It was great.
Cosmos, they do have some revenue, but their costs of revenue and their operating expenses make it so it's not profitable. Balance sheet, they don't have cash. Their debt seems manageable. It looks okay, but they're going to have to raise cash, and they might even reverse split if they fall under if they get into non-compliance again. But for the sake of the move we're seeing here today, make that money, trade it, but just don't stay in it. I don't think this is one to hold.
You have Sean that wants us to take a look at Nvidia. So we've talked about Nvidia quite a bit. This is kind of the trend line that we drew, right? So touch point 1, 2, 3, coming up at 4. So we talked about this quite a bit. I would, man, I don't know. If you're looking to go long, I got to wait for the break of 130. Personally, I got to wait for a break of 130. If you're looking to go short, I think maybe around here is a good opportunity. But if you get to 130.50s, you get out. So you're risking about $1.30 or so. Is the way that I would play it. If you want to go long, wait for the break of 130. If you want to go short, here's where you can start nibbling. But my stop loss, hey, I was wrong, is at 131.50s on this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think 130, that's kind of what you have to watch for, because if we don't get back up there, then it's probably not going to hold up. Hopefully that's helpful. Shawn Michaels, hey, from the top rope, buddy. Nobody got that? Okay.
Sorry. Oh, there it is. So there's the SPY. Oh, no matter of fact, not just the SPY. You've got the SPY and Nvidia about to cross. What you got?
Somebody just mentioned, I still think VRAX goes, and as soon as I put it on my screen, it looks like it was going. 430, just about 9 cents away.
You have GDC, by the way, that's open and went ahead and crossed the 368 area, made a high of approximately 387, a couple of 20 cents down from there. You have Nvidia that hit the trend line. We'll see which way it wants to behave there. You also have the SPY that's looking to, I think, where's this trend line coming from?
It broke out of that that high that we put in yesterday, and then we also did today, the 560.80 level broke out of there. We're going to fill this gap now. You see here where we're at with that. Oh yeah, we are filling that gap, guys.
Yep, and that gap fill, I have it at about
562.10.
There you go. That's it. Mine's
so
about
we're 10 cents away. Let's see, folks. We're right here on the doorstep. Let's see what happens. And VRAX took out 430. Great job on that mention. Great job on that mention, Wiz.
Can I take a look at NU? Yes, I can. 15 minutes till Ben and his team come on from Story Trading to give you different insights, angles, analysis, trade ideas, all that good stuff.
What was going on with NU today? Actually, what's been going on with NU all week? This thing has had a better recovery than the broader market ever since that yen carry trade. So, by the way,
someone was talking about payrolls. It looks like U.S. payrolls benchmark. The actual was minus 118,000 is what I have.
Take care, Judge.
See you, Judge.
This is very interesting on the SPY here. Take a look at a smaller time frame real quick here, because I want to see what happens after this gap fill here. Look at how slowly we're getting to the end of the fill. Okay, we just filled it. Now what happens next? This is a SPY.
So we did fill it. Ooh, there it is.
Just fill it. Now I'm just wanting to see what happens next. Do we reverse? Do we push higher into the all-time high? This is the moment, folks. Yeah, like we're just not that far away here. We're literally the July 16th candle away from getting to that all-time high.
Dude, what is happening here? Oh my God, come on.
Is Rev B done for the day? Maybe. It might be one of those, we've seen this happen a lot where after the morning move, it just kind of goes down, finds bottom, goes sideways, and then in the afternoon, it comes back. No guarantee that that's what we get out of Rev B, but it's just something to just keep on watch in case you start to see some bottoming and some sideways consolidation. Okay. Yeah, just a bunch of sideways action in SoundHound now. Lots of things sideways.
I did go short on the SPY here, so my short position on the SPY is, where's my entry?
Oh wow, great job on VRAX, guys, especially you have been ripping, or not ripping, but just absolutely shouting out about it.
Is that going to halt again, or did it halt again?
It might halt here. It's starting to make the moves like it's going to halt, and it is halted.
This is an example in Line Atlas. I don't know if you're still in the chat. And again, I'm just having a conversation with you. I hope you don't, see it as me attacking you. But this is kind of like an example of these are stocks that no one's saying put your 401k or Roth IRA in, right? But if you want to try to intraday trade it, and if you see some levels that you like, this is a great example of folks in the chat that have taken advantage of it, which is why we try to find a healthy balance of small cap, mid cap, large cap, micro cap companies, just to kind of give you an idea of what all you can trade. Neon is one that folks are talking about. Yeah, that's making new highs as well for the day.
And these movers, they provide those trades that folks want to be in and out of, and then they want to be done with their day. Around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern time, and they have other things they need to do, so they're not able to kind of hold and nurture positions all day. And if they're swing trades, well then that's a completely different animal. But for the purpose of just being in and out of the market for capturing these volatile moves, that's all that some of these folks really need. That's all that they need. But we're going to trade everything. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to give our opinion on what's good, what's bad, and hopefully y'all can make money from it.
And just a heads up for folks that might just be joining us, in about 13 minutes, we'll have Ben and his team from Story Trading coming to hang out with us to give you the different angles and trade ideas. And then after that, we'll have 2 interviews with All Accesses. I will be back after I, put on a nice little button down maybe. I realized my whole closet is like navy blue. I think I have one button down which has like maybe polka dots, but it's still a navy blue. So I might need to go out shopping a little bit more. But
hey, Nabil, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not, but great call on Avis Budget Group. This one was looking like it was going to turn around and go higher, get back into the 140s at some point. But after, what was this, earnings or something? There was something that took this down because it was putting in a bit of a inverse head and shoulders. That pattern is broken, and it is looking like we are still heading down with this one. Looks like it's trying to recover and recapture the 20-day SMA, but the pattern it's putting in right now does not look encouraging. Like it still could go lower. The great thing about this is that we're in this consolidation area from back in 2021. So you could still find a bottom here. I think this is the thing that I'm going to want to see for upside is I want to see continue to hold above the 20-day SMA. We're only up here for the first time since, last one was the last close. It was earlier this year, maybe in July was probably the last close we had above the 20-day SMA. So as long as we continue to show some more closes above the 20-day SMA, then that would give me some more confidence that this would go higher and test the 50 next. Looks
just
like
an ugly.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go. What's the ticker? What?
SMFL actually breaking out now and finally recovering after finding a bottom down at, what is this, 180-ish. Yeah. So that's making some pretty crazy moves. This is probably on nothing.
Well, so, man, you had resistance here. You popped up. You had that resistance hold on as support. I would have said this might act as resistance around 225, but I'm already wrong. So, if I were to take that trade, I would have been wrong. Let's see if this 250 ends up being another part of the resistance. Your high of day is approximately 249 or so. It should be 259.
Yeah, this is trying to get through that consolidation that we got in pre-market. So I think that's what we're seeing here with the selling now. It is above VWAP for the moment. If this can hold above VWAP, there's a good chance it's going to push up higher and go into the 250s.
Speaking of pushing up higher, our SPY trade that we took.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We're going to go ahead and cover that. Let me make sure my order. Oh, nope. That's the right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and I'll talk about why we took that trade here in just a second. Let me just close out this. Oh my God, sometimes you have too many options in life. How do I cover this? There you go. Thank you. All right, cool. Covered that trade, and I'll just quickly go over it here. So main reason, we talked about it pre-market, right? Mm-hmm. What are the levels that we want to take a look at? And one of the ones that we had brought out was this 560, because if you went ahead and look left, you had 560 that was resistance, which is exactly what happened here at 10 o'clock. So we talked about it pre-market. We saw it kind of happen, play through at 10 o'clock. Then we said, okay, the next level is where it wants to close the gap. So we went ahead and looked left once again, a little further out. We've got nice eyeballs, nice vision. And we saw that, hey, you had a gap to close here. Then you come back up, you touch it almost to the penny. We said what? 562 to the 10, 562, 11 cents is what it was. So we went ahead and got in. My risk was about $1. So if it went to say 560, 260s, I was going to be out maybe less than $1 there. And then we got a nice, beautiful move to the downside. So I took a trade on target. That one thankfully worked out, made profits on this one here as well, but just downside. And now, while this is going on, we talked about the trend line on Nvidia here as well. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, we kind of talked about how you had the 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, fourth one there. The 131 area was my risk off on this one. Did not take this trade because I was already in a SPY trade. I like that one a little bit better. But even that one went ahead and rejected and gave you about a point from that area as well. So maybe maybe Atlas was right. Maybe I should personally stick to bigger names. But they all can go ahead and work out is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think we should just keep it as is. Do both big names and small names. While you're doing the big name success, look at all the small name success we're having. We have VRAC success. We have an SMFL success. Help me out, guys. What else do you trade that's been doing really well? I've been seeing, what was that? That GDC one. That one's been doing great. Everybody's been nailing some of these smaller names and the big names. I don't think we should change a thing.
I'm into that. Here's VRAX that's open again. We'll see if it kind of breaks 5. I'm not in this one. You're not in this one either, right?
I'm not in that one, no.
Okay, cool.
I only have 2 eyes, and with the show going on, there's not going to be, I'm not going to be all over the place.
How many monitors do you rock?
3.
Okay.
I rock 3. I'd like to get I'd like to get that Samsung 50. I think it's a 56 widescreen that's curved. Maybe a couple of those and just kind of stack them on each other. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Z Forte made money on ABGO and GDC.
Balance.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We love it. We love it. We appreciate you guys for hanging out. Again, if you haven't already done so, we'd love for you guys to join us for the trading competition that we've got going on. Benzinga's hosting it. It's powered by Trade Zero. I think I think Smoke Tuna or Born to Be Free signed up earlier. I think it was Born to Be Free that signed up earlier.
Yep.
So appreciate you guys joining. It should be fun. A lot of great content there. It's 100% free to sign up. They ask for like your name, email address, and phone number, but nothing crazy whatsoever. And you get a chance to win up to $30,000 and a trip to New York to check out the stock exchange. And also you get lunch on us for you and a friend if you go ahead and win as well. So plenty of good stuff there that's happening.
How many strings can you pull to have the winner ring the bell, the opening bell?
I'd like to. My head is pretty big. I've been told I have a big ego, but I also recognize when I look in the mirror that I do not have that many strings to pull to have someone ring the bell. Even I didn't get a chance to do that when I checked out the stock exchange, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been amazing, though.
It would have been. I would have been like, hey, happy to be CEO of Zunate Town, I would have gone on LinkedIn and been like, I am humbled to share.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, one day, man, I'll join you in the Curve Monitor team.
Look at the SPY. We are looking to go green to red, a penny above our entry area on the SPY to the downside. We already sold out of everything, so there's not much for us to celebrate besides the win that we did get. Let me see here. What was my... I wonder if this thing tells me my fills.
Well, let's talk a little bit about downside with SPY now. So
talk to me.
555 is a resistance, turn support, turn resistance level, turn support level. So 555, if we start trading down, I think we're going to get some support there. That might happen and last for a day, but I think we could end up going lower. I still think we're going to go lower even after hitting 555, but watch that particular level for a bounce. There'll probably be some trades in there that you could take, some quick, some day trades.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be, the beginning of a potential reversal if we continue to go down there.
I will say before we get to your $5 foot long area of 555, I think you've got 557 to keep an eye on, which was yesterday's low that we found some support at. Because if you go and look at Monday, right, this week, resistance popped up, held a support. What is it going to do if it comes knocking on the door at 557.33? TBD if we even test it. I've got no idea. Maybe we do it today. Maybe we do it tomorrow. Maybe we never do it. Who really knows? But speaking of 555, we've got 5 minutes. Still Story Trading comes on to give us some new insights, angles, and trade ideas as well. Did you just give us a Subway ad from like the 1990s? Bro, $5 footlong is now like 10. It's insane.
Yeah, the sandwich didn't increase, but the inflation did. Now, to your point about 557, I'm looking at the July 23rd and July 9th candle to help support your case there. Look at the highs on those days. They're right in that 557 area. The one on the 9th, 557.18.
Yeah.
The one on the 23rd, 556.74. You could split the difference on both of those. You're still at 557. You're right around there.
Yeah. Someone, by the way, mentioned they have $3.99. Okay, dippers. Oh, okay, I was like, they do not have. Oh, I see them. Yeah, foot long dippers. I might have to go upset my stomach a little bit and try those out.
Wow, VRAX absolutely ripping. That got up to the 508 target I had up there. Got as high as 513. If we continue to go higher, 565 would be the next level I'd be interested in seeing go. But it seems like it's kind of reversing at the moment. So hopefully the VWAP will give it some support if it starts to trade down.
By the way, just a heads up, Godfather, if you can hear us, I don't see your camera connected. It's not that you've turned it off. It's just I don't see it connected. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but I just want to give you a heads up. All right, we've got about a couple of minutes here. Any last trade ideas that you've got rocking here?
Oh, well, no trade ideas. I just usually sign off by saying, hey, folks, it's been a great morning. We've nailed a lot of these trades. The SPY is starting to look a little bit weak here. So don't try to force any trades. You might get killed in them. So be careful with your money. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll look for some more things to trade. Stay green. I'll see you then.
All right. Appreciate it, Ben. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to rock, my man. 13. We will see you later, my friend. We say bye to 13. We say hello to Ben. Ben, what's going on, man?
How you doing, man?
Good.
Doing good. Doing good. A little bit of a sleepy day. We didn't do much trading today because of jobs data revision today, jobs data tomorrow, Powell Friday. Markets have been on a tear, so maybe things need a little bit of a breather. So we're doing some trades today, but honestly not too active. There was only one high conviction pick we had this morning that we were actively trading, dabbling in a few other things, but kind of an easy day for us today.
Heads up real quick. I don't know which mic of yours is activated, which one's not. It might be hitting your chest. If you had a chest pump day yesterday, it's making a little bit of staticky noise. Just a heads up on that. You're good there. You just see, I think when you touch it or move it, it kind of makes a noise. Just a heads up on that. But
all right,
I know you got your friends in the back. It's all you, man. Awesome. You guys can give me a thumbs up. Godfather, Foster, I can go and bring you up. Yep. I see one. I see two. Welcome. The show is yours. I will be back at 11:30. So here's what's happening, chat. You've got story trading with the gang here for 30 minutes. I'll be back to do back-to-back all accesses, and then we'll talk about what's coming up tomorrow as well. Gentlemen, the show is yours.
Awesome. Can you pull my screen up? There it is. Okay. All right, welcome, guys. It's been a week since we've seen you. It's been an awesome week. Got my colleagues here, Rhett and the Godfather. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, Ben. How are you?
Oh, awesome. Good to see you. Let's do a quick macro review before we dig into some stocks and some ideas. So as I said, we have jobs data, some revision data just came out, revised down by 600,000 or so. No, it was 818,000. So that just came out. We have payroll, some more jobs data. I think it's unemployment data, perhaps, tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. And then we have Powell at Jackson Hole on Friday. Then we have Nvidia coming up next week. So a lot of events that could move the market. And, the markets have come a long way. Now, I've been forecasting for a few days now an all-time high on SPY. Honestly, looking at this chart, I think it comes regardless of any of those data points. What's a little more tricky is what happens with IWM, which I think will be, first QQQ, which a little more dependent on Nvidia earnings, and then IWM, which is going to be more dependent on Jackson Hole and interest rate situation. Myself, I took a little bit of a bet on TLT call options ahead of the data we had this morning and the next two pieces of it. What's happening tomorrow and Friday could have a huge impact on TLT bonds if, for example, tomorrow we get light jobs data, and then Friday Powell indicates, we're definitely cutting, or maybe we'll also do 50 basis points. If we get something like that, then TLT can really spike. I have an open swing trade idea on this with a target of 103 to 110 on TLT. So that's a macro look. Before we dive into any stocks, Rhett, the Godfather, any comments or any additional color you want to add from a macro perspective?
Yeah, look, I think the other thing that's of interest here is that also on Friday we get the Bank of Japan governor. So I'm watching the U.S. dollar very closely. I think that Powell, he said this time and time again, he does not want to surprise markets. So I know there's a lot of job owning going on, and there's a lot of heeing and hawing, but at the end of the day, I think we get 25. I think Evercore's missive that we may see 50 is misplaced. Fed funds futures are pricing in 3 cuts this year. I think that might be a bit optimistic, but who's to say on that? But yeah, at the end of the day, I think we get 25 because that's what the market is expecting. That's essentially what they've telegraphed. And, frankly, I think that's enough for the market. And the market gets really jumpy going into things like Jackson Hole because of, historical events have taken place there. But I think you see a relief rally. just getting back and through it, unless there's something completely from left field, which I really don't anticipate happening. I think that this bump that we saw 2 Mondays ago with the currencies and the unwinding of the carry trade is not something that the global governors want a repeat of. So again, I think his comments will be really reserved, and I think he's simply going to produce 25 beeps.
All right, let's do it. I like hearing that. Rhett, any other commentary on the macro?
I mean, you guys pretty much covered it all. So, can you guys hear me? It doesn't look like my mic is.
Yep, I hear you. All right, let's dive into some stocks. Since if you were watching our show last week, there's 2 awesome picks. One from The Godfather, one from myself, which really blew up last week. First, I got to give kudos to The Godfather on ASTS. He was all over ASTS, owning this into the earnings report, predicting a short squeeze, literally like right after the earnings report. And after hours, the thing was like, what was it, like $20, $21? And it's like, this thing's going to squeeze. Look at it. It like doubled.
Yeah, I lightened up going into the earnings report because I was afraid of a sell on the news event. And that's exactly
you did,
what
but
happened.
then I saw you buy back. I saw you buy after that.
While the conference call was going on, I bought at a low of 1941. And then I just kept adding because, look, the 2 primary short theses on this stock are, number one, that they were going to have to dilute, and number 2, that people were disbelieving in the technology, and both of those have been rendered moot. And look, I didn't know it was going to squeeze to the extent that it did, but certainly happy to have that tailwind. I sold too early all the way up, which is kind of my style. I just keep legging out as the trend is going. But look, the best way to make money in the market, period, is positioning yourself in a big trend. And if you caught even a small piece of that ASTS cover, you've done really well.
I got a small piece. I bought at like $20 when he said in after hours after the earnings report, like 2076. The next morning, it was like starting to surge, and I sold covered calls on it. I thought it was a genius. I'm like, yeah, these calls are so expensive. I sold the $24 calls for like $1.50, and with just a few days left, and the thing goes to $40. So I made a little bit of money. Thank you, The Godfather. By the way, you can follow The Godfather on X at @smantle. That's his handle, and it's also in our Discord community. Now, the other crazy pick of last week, which was the Story Trading official top pick for several days last week, was TSSI, and boy, did we ever nail this. If you were with us last week, I'm sure I spoke about it. Next to it was Wednesday, so yeah, I'm sure it was our top pick there. It was our top pick over at Wolf Financial Spaces as well. 50% move in 3 days, and I gotta say, exactly as we predicted. I'm like, we're gonna have 3 open green candles. Turned out we had 4. I said we're gonna have 3 open green candles right into the 450 and 450 to $5 target zone, and then we'll consolidate for a while. This has been a huge winner. It's my largest position, and I think there's probably a lot more upside left. The trajectory may be a little bit different. The catalyst is no longer proximal. That's a good segue into just talking about what we do at Story Trading. At Story Trading, we believe markets are generally efficient. And what that means, the follow-through of that is if markets are efficient, when you have a delta of information, you have a delta in price. Right? A lot of people think, markets are inefficient because they're looking at only one angle. They're looking at, let's say, only fundamentals. And they're saying, the fundamental price doesn't match a market price. Therefore, markets are inefficient. So, no, we say we have 4 pillars at Story Trading. We look at fundamentals, sentiment, technicals, and catalysts. That's the big picture. That's everything, because we respect all market participants. What sets a market price are other people. And other people don't only care about fundamentals. They also care about sentiment, catalysts, and technicals. So when you respect other market individuals, you come to realize that, yes, the market is efficient. There's a reason why yesterday's closing price was correct. And what is that? That gives us huge opportunity. Some people are like, then there's no opportunity, Ben. If markets are efficient, then why even try? Precisely the opposite. When markets are efficient, you get rapid re-ratings in price. You got to have a delta in price when you have a delta of information. So the challenge and what we love to do at Story Trading is to look at a catalyst, interpret the impact of that catalyst on fundamentals, on sentiment, And then if that's positive, we triangulate with technicals and we come up with a trade idea that's a rapid re-rating, right? When I say efficient market, it doesn't mean like in 1 second efficiency. It means like within hours or a couple days. That to me, that's efficiency, right? So we get these. That's what I aim for at Story Trading. We look at the catalyst and we come up with a thesis of what's going to rapidly re-rate, and that worked precisely, accurately on TSSI. So now that catalyst is no longer proximal, right? It's 4 business days ago. So I love this for the long term, but in terms of predicting a rapid re-rating, I don't know that you're going to continue to get that right now. We have our thesis for our community. We're not going to talk about that again over here right now on this show. If you're interested, you can join us in our community. But TSSI, ASTS, 2 huge winners in the past week in our community. Anything you want to add to that before we go on down the list of stocks? Anyone? Brett? Brett's asleep.
No, I'm not asleep. Right here, I'm looking at the charts.
I know you're in TSSI. You played that.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I'm still in it. I just sold Palantir right before earlier, so
I saw you get into that. Nice.
Yeah, I got out of that. Made a little profit, crazy, but I mean, for the most part, I've just been on the sidelines for today because of
it's a sleepy day. I agree. It's not a day to be aggressive. All right. So with that, let's just quickly look at some stocks we've been talking about trading this morning. Our number 1 pick of the day was SDIG, Stronghold Digital, I guess. So it doesn't look too impressive, but compared to everything else that's going on in the market, it hasn't been too bad. We got in pre-market, like in the 4s, depending where people got in different prices. But since the pre-market price, you can see it's been up. This is a merger. They're getting some shares of BITF, so you got to look at that. Now, depending on how you calculate, I'm not sure. I calculated like a fair value or a buyout value of something like 670. Someone else calculated like 570. I'm not sure which is correct, but either way, it's still way above this 490, providing a nice support. So this has been great, being able to buy the supports and sell the spikes. So SDIG, number 1 pick of the day, has been working out for me. Godfather, what's your top pick you've been focused on today?
Well, I'm still focused on this Fubo, and the area on the chart.
You killed Fubo yesterday. I got to give you, man, you've been on fire. ASTS and then Fubo. So we all saw the news Friday, I think, afternoon about the preliminary injunction, but you took it a step further and you're like, buy the dips, man. And you were right about that.
So it's a tough one to value. It's a crappy business model. Gross margins are, they were up, but you're in the sort of 13% range, which is not what I typically buy with a tech company. I'd like to see EBITDA margins at 30%. But therein lies the opportunity, because they've got this big structural cost. They have to purchase their content from the likes of Disney and Fox and Warner Brothers, and essentially they're in the bundle game. They want to be able to provide skinny bundles to sports fans. If you just want MLS soccer, or you just want NFL or what have you, but because these big guys control the content, they're being forced to buy CNN, forced to buy Disney, and all this other stuff that they don't want to. So the cost of their bundles that they can provide to their customers skyrocketed from over $40 to over $80. And they essentially said and filed a case to say, this is anti-competitive behavior if the 3 of these guys get together and come out with their own sports streaming, which is what they were doing, called Venue. So this preliminary injunction, look, it's a high bar to get this from a judge, and it hasn't yet been appealed. Who knows how long this could go on? I've heard 6 months to a year. So look, you got the NFL season starting on September 5th. If you look at Fubo price chart, September has always been its strongest month. The most recent quarter saw revenues up 26%, subscribers up, I think it was 27%. Adjusted EBITDA loss was down to 11 million. So, they're getting pretty close to cash flow break even. I think they were negative 35 million, but they've got over 200 million, and they've got no debt payable for the next 2 years. So and the other interesting wrinkle that's going on here is their executive chairman is Edgar Bronfman Jr., and he's also the guy that has filed a competing bid with Larry Ellison's son, David, against for Paramount. So people are postulating that maybe the two of these somehow get put together, or certainly Fubo gets some preferential content treatment. So look, the bottom line is I ran some, and these are just back of the envelope numbers because we really don't know what metrics are at play here. They don't disclose enough information, but even a 10% cost reduction in that content, or every 10% drops around 70 million straight to the bottom line at Fubo. That was my back of the envelope calculation. So if it's just 70 million and just 10% for next year, you got a stock that's trading at less than 10 times EV EBITDA. If it's more than that, look, if it's double that, you're down to 5. So I can see value here. The stock was 250 back in February when they initially launched this lawsuit. It gapped down, when Venu was initially announced, it gapped down below 2. Then they announced their lawsuit against Venu, and it gapped back up and filled that to the 250 range. So that's really the zone I'm looking for. I'll let some go when we start trading in that 225 to 250 level.
Yeah. So just to kind of summarize what you're saying, we initially saw this catalyst on this news, and it broke the 200 DMA. I had put a price target on this Monday morning at around 240, exactly what you're saying. You can see where this candle got resisted at $2.43. It's also a gap right there around the same level, 240. It didn't quite hit that 240 the first day. But what you're explaining here is that this is not just a headline play on that news. It drew attention to the fact that this is also fundamentally a good value, I think, is what's happening here. And so that's why you're seeing follow through. When this didn't reach the 240 target I had for the first day, so we made some money on it. I got out. Yesterday, you nailed it buying the dip on that conviction you had on the fundamentals. And today I'm back in. I followed you back in because I see the opening above the 200 DMA. That 200 DMA is now support. So I think that tells the story of the stock over the last 3 days. So very good research there to quickly catch up and see, hey, the fundamentals are good here, and this catalyst may bring some attention to that. So I agree with your targets. First, you got some 218 from Monday morning. You got to get over, and then the original target, we're going to keep that, right? Especially if we break 218, then 240 or so would be the next target on Fubo.
I'll mention one other thing. That look, there's a lot of options activity in the stock, and that can either be a headwind or a tailwind. There are a lot of market makers that are selling those options, and these are weekly options. So you got an expiry on Friday. There is big incentive probably to see a lot of those expire worthless, and so there will be a big battleground here at $2. I know it's through there now at a new high of the day, 210, but never underestimate these market players.
You got 30.
They're more often right than wrong in my experience.
They're more often right than wrong. Once in a while, you can gamma squeeze them. I don't know if that's going to happen. You got 31,000 open interest on the $2. That's equivalent to about 3 million shares. Volume today is 18 million shares. Probably not enough for a gamma squeeze at this point, I don't think.
Well, they may be, that may be what we're seeing right now. You may be seeing them hedge by buying the stock right now. But look, the longer it stays and the higher it goes over 2, the more this flips to a tailwind.
Looking good. These are the two stocks I'm in for today right now. It's SDIG and Fubo. So
we have a question in the chat right now. So it's for the golfer. It's going to be for RCAT and then GTEC.
Oh, cool. All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in just a second. I just want to finish quickly going down this list, and then we'll get to the questions. All right, so what else do we got on our radar here? On is a stock that I hold for the long term. I just noticed the strength this morning. I added a little bit to my long-term position. It's a new 52-week high. Yep, new 52-week high this morning here at 44.40 or something, I think, when it broke that. So that's looking good. I love I love this because I discovered over the years one of the best ways of investing is just kind of open your eyes, in the world, and it's usually right underneath your nose. like the best companies. So you got to pay attention to what people are talking about, what people are buying. And I've just heard so much about these on-cloud shoes from people in our community. And so I've been in it for the last 2 earnings reports, and that's worked out pretty well. Didn't have a day trade on it or anything like that for today, but new high here. Technicals look strong, so I added to that position. Let's see what else we have to catch up on here. Rocket Labs, impressive here. So AST missed a lot of that boat, the Godfather, but I was looking for like what could go next. And Rocket Labs, I have an open trade idea on this because I was thinking we can get a sentiment sympathy move in Rocket Labs. Now, as it turns out, I think you were a little suspect at first, but you dug into the fundamentals because the reason I put this out as a trade card, I don't like doing things. There's a lot of stuff like right here. Let's say monkeypox stocks, right? Monkeypox, you see there's a lot of stuff going on. You saw on the Benzinga show prior to us with Zunade, like VRAX up 57%. This is great. All right. Good stuff if you could do it. I don't trade like that. Even if I'm doing a short-term trade personally at story trading, even if it's like an intraday day trade, for the most part, I want to only be trading stocks where I like the fundamentals. And I feel good about the fundamentals because I don't want to be hit. First of all, I want to have conviction. You know, if I don't have conviction, I turn upside down on the trade and a stock dropping. And I'm like, oh, everyone's finding out the fundamentals are shit. I better sell now. Like, I'm not good at trading stocks if I don't believe in the fundamentals. That's number one. Number two, you can always get hit with some bad news or an offering or something like that. So Rocket Labs, I heard a lot of good things about the fundamentals inflecting from colleagues and people I follow very closely. So this was already on my radar. Everyone's screaming in my ear over the last couple months, Ben, you got to get into Rocket Labs. Their business is inflected, the fundamentals, and I didn't get into it. But then I'm like, here's an opportunity. So according to my colleagues, fundamentals are good. And now you have the sympathy move potentially with ASTS, everyone looking for this next short squeeze in the space area. That's why we have an open trade card in Rocket Labs. Nice red to green move today. So the Godfather, tell us what you found about the fundamentals on Rocket Lab. Again, you were initially a little suspect, but I think you changed your mind on it.
Yeah, I'm always suspect when sympathies start moving. My history with this is you generally do better sticking with the real leader. And there's 2 different stories at work here. ASTS is providing space-based broadband to cellular phones. So this is a long-term recurring business with super high margins. Rocket Lab is competing with SpaceX and putting stuff into space, essentially. They've got their own rocket technologies. Also a very good business. They've proven themselves. They've got some new technology that's being brought to bear in the next year. I think the first launch with their new rockets early in 2025. Look, this leader, I forget his last name, first name Peter, is very well regarded in the industry. I put them as in terms of publicly listed space specific pure plays, number 2 behind ASTS, but you have to recognize it's a completely different business plan. But again, capital structure is important here, and there are a lot of disbelievers, and as a result, you got a high short position. So, everything was sort of setting up at the same time. You're seeing, technically looking good at breakout levels on the chart. You had a quarter where they talked about their new rocket technology. They talked about backlog build, and then you got a market that's favorably disposed, which we saw again, same situation kind of in LUNR. Where some of the factors are at play.
On that sympathy play, that was crazy.
Yeah, so in quality, I would put ASTS first. I put Rocket Lab second, and I'd put LUNR third. But
and you can see the chart there. I have an $8 swing target on Rocket Labs. Let's see if that works out. All right, let's hit some Q&A. Rhett, what do you got going on?
I can't hear Rhett.
Your mic's off.
Okay, so the first one we're going to do is for the Godfather on RCAT, if you guys want to chime in on that.
Oh, yeah, RCAT. Go ahead.
Yeah, so look, the stock has been, and Ben has been right to call this out. Pre-market, it's been ticking easily above $3, which you typically don't see. So I'm not sure what to read into that, but I've noted that also as being anomalous. But look, when the quarter came out, what did we learn? We learned that the core business is doing well. What was new for me, and I think for everybody else, is they disclosed a little bit about FlightWave for the first time, and they talked about 10 to 20 million in contribution. Those numbers were higher than I had expected. So I've been consistent on this thing, saying $3 is where it should revalue to. I think I started saying that when the stock was around $1.40, just on the base business. But of course, the real story here is, a potential transformational win on several, not just DoD contracts, but also NATO and NATO partners. So, NATO kind of works the same way as the rest of the world does when they look at FDA approvals. So, look, if it's good enough for the Department of Defense and they've passed muster, then NATO countries will buy the stuff as well. And when you look at the SSR program, these guys were whittled down from 37 contestants down to 2. So they have what it takes. They have what the military is after. And I think that they're going to win a portion. They're not the incumbent. They're down to 2 with the incumbent. But I think they'll win a portion of this. Sole sourcing is never a good idea. And it's hard, though, because we don't know the size. But look, even if it's 100 million, it completely, changes the story here. It's massively transformational. I think they've shown to the market by selling their consumer division and monetizing UMAC that cash is not really the issue. These government contracts or NATO contracts will come with big upfronts to fund the development and production, and they've got there are a lot of questions about their ability in terms of capacity at their plant in Utah, and I think they did a good job of answering that. They're on a hiring frenzy, prepping for large-scale production, and they can do thousands of these a month. So that story is very much intact. I think it sits here around the $3 level, unless I'm missing something, until mid-September. I think the 27th is when we hear on the first government contract. But look, NATO members could come in at any time, and China dominates this market, and there's a real push globally to purchase non-Chinese drones for military applications.
Arcat, I just changed my mic. I saw someone else was complaining about it. If this is better, let me know in chat. I have a little different take on the price action. I think heading into late September, I think you're going to see a sentiment move, or event anticipation move is what we call that, event anticipation move. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing heads towards 4 before that decision, in my opinion. So we'll see if that plays out. What was the other question for Godfather?
So there was the second part of that question. That's going to be GTEC.
Yeah, go ahead. GTEC.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of scratching my head on this one. I mentioned it in the Wolf small cap show on Spaces last night. Excuse me. And I think that's what caused the stock to pop to 250 this morning. But look, this thing is it's ridiculously cheap. It's got a ridiculously low float. We're talking around 7 million shares. It's cheap probably because people think of it as a Chinese shitco. It is based in New Jersey. They do have a EV forklift facility in Baltimore, but all the management are Chinese, and the bulk of their revenue really comes from selling transmissions and drivetrains to materials handling equipment, which is essentially forklifts in China. So flat revenue growth, but you're talking about $1.38 a share in net cash if you look at the most recent quarter, and it's probably more than that now because they're operating cash flow positive. So I get a ridiculous number of less than 1 times on EV EBITDA here, and
wow, that's ridiculous.
0.1 times EV to sales, and that goes negative if you factor in this note receivable that they have of 30 million. So current cash is just shy of 19. You can add another 30 to that. They say they're going to collect it in the next 12 months. Maybe there's skepticism over that, but I just see a great deal of valuation support here. This, by all accounts, looks to be a real business. It kind of reminds me of GCT. which absolutely exploded. I was looking at that same thing, scratching my head at $2-3, and it went to 30 plus.
Wow.
Subsequently got hit by a bunch of short reports saying that this thing isn't real, but it still maintains a ridiculously high valuation.
Awesome update on that. Sorry to cut you off, but we only have a couple minutes. Benzinga's got a hard stop. They're doing a couple CEO interviews here. In any case, let's just remind people for now, if you want to join us, you can scan the QR code at the top, or just go to storytrading.com/Discord to join us over there, or follow us also on Twitter. See our handles right below that, S-Mantle and Story Trading. Any final things you want to talk about real quick before we get cut off by Zunaid here? Either of you?
I just want to make one point about the seasonality here. Sorry, Rhett. August to October, August almost done, but September, October, volatile months. Obviously, election throws even more volatility in here. So how do you keep yourself from acting too emotional in this market? Stick to quality. Know what you own. Yeah. That's going to keep you on the straight and narrow. If you're unsure about a position because you've been reaching down the quality curve, you're going to get chopped out, because the market is going to be choppy over the next 2 months.
100%. That's a good point. And to that point, also because of the seasonality, I opened a dedicated day trading account, which I normally don't do. I'm more of a swing trader, but I've really been enjoying this process of making sure I'm at 90 to 95% cash at the end of each day in this portion of this new account I set up. It's been brilliant. I opened it, a week ago, 5-6 days ago, and it's up 30% in 5 or 6 days. So it's going to be hard to keep that pace, but we'll see. We'll do our best to do that. So great point there on the seasonality. The Godfather. Rhett, any final thoughts?
No, I think you guys covered it all. Just wanted to mention, if you guys want to also, for going to our Discord, you can also go to the S-Mantles on Twitter and go to his link tree to get that link as well.
Or you can go to storytrading.com/The Godfather. If you want to join primarily because of him, go to that link, not ours, storytrading.com/The Godfather. Make sure you get some credit for that.
Same price, guys, $9.99 for the first month. Cancel anytime.
Oh, wow. He even has a better deal than us going on right now. Beautiful. Zunaid says I have a few minutes. All right. So we can just chat till he cuts us off. Look at Rocket Labs right now, breaking out at high of day. I didn't add any additional day trades on this, but I have swing position and I have some call options expiring next week and September in the day trading account. That's the 5% that I kept was mostly some Rocket Lab calls. Oh, I didn't talk about HIMS. HIMS has been a failure the last couple of days. After this big open green candle yesterday morning, I made HIMS a trade idea looking for a move to about $18. That hasn't transpired yet. Been really frustrating. To me, this stock after earnings should have reclaimed 20. It hasn't done it. I'm not giving up yet on this trade idea. You can see the low of the day still above the open on Monday morning. So I'm sticking with this HIMS trade idea. We'll see. If it doesn't work out by the end of the week, I might bail on that. But so far, that hasn't worked out. Since we have time, let's just talk about VKTX. Look at this trend line that I drew on here from the $100 peak, 67, the key level, been flirting with it. So, if you've been able to trade this, kudos to you. I just have too much greed/conviction in this name that they're going to be bought out for between $100 and $200, maybe as soon as January. So I haven't been trading this, but we're keeping a very close eye on it. I did add a couple extra call options expiring in January, $100 strike when I saw this big open green candle. So for me, I'm not trading this. We'll see. It's my second largest position, VKTX, after TSSI.
There seems to be some anticipation in the market that something's coming, and the tell on that is when it curls higher at the end of the day. And we've seen that the last 2 sessions, and I'd be really curious to see that.
Oh wow, you're right about that.
If we get that late on Friday,
big volume too, big volume. Wow.
Merger Monday, right? People expect things on Monday, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a curl, even if it's a trade. Watch this thing. I personally will be watching to trade VKTX, day trade it, swing it.
It's very volatile.
Into a curl into close on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting idea. Okay, so maybe we'll do that here. Getting a bump here in SDIG. I'll be after this show. I'll have to manage that position a little bit. I've been selling this on pops and buying it on supports as their #1 pick of the day. So that's working out good. Stock to trade. Nice floor developing here on the certainty. Well, not complete certainty of this merger with BITF. Giving it a good value, people buying the supports on that, turning out to be a good #1 pick. I got it. Someone in our room noted the big spike down here on Rocket Labs. I just wasn't quick enough to add there, but great call out from that person in our room. That would have been a great opportunity to add to the position. Look at it go here. Unbelievable red to green move. Looking good. All right. Well, I guess we're just gonna be here till we're kicked off.
Yeah. So I was gonna say we're waiting on our guests to come on. But if you guys have trade ideas, you're welcome to talk about it. If not, I can take over and you guys can help. I don't want to force you guys on while we're live.
Well, I could always talk forever, but yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead.
No. Well, okay. So what we'll do, I'll just go down this watch list and see if there's anything else of note to look at, to talk about. Wolf was a trade idea yesterday. We had a 496 target on this from the open. Almost hit it yesterday, almost hitting it today, right into that gap after an upgrade, I believe it was yesterday. No, it was a second 13F. There was one by Stanley Druckenmiller last week. So this Bitcoin miner, I guess it's a Bitcoin miner. You know more about this, the Godfather. But that one was a great trade idea from us yesterday. Looking good. Let's see what else. So PBI has not worked out yet. Got a swing trade idea on this. I mean, it's been decent since the earnings report, but I'm waiting for a much bigger move. I thought this open green candle here Monday was breaking out of this consolidation level. It's kind of holding that consolidation zone from last week, but I'm looking for like much higher on PBI. Hasn't worked out yet. I'm in common shares swinging those. So that's looking okay, but a little disappointing. I mean, it's up 15-20% since earnings, but I think it deserves to be up. Maybe it's up more than 15-20% since earnings, actually, from like 6 to 7, whatever that is. But I was looking for like a 50 to 70% re-rating on their earnings guidance being doubled to next year, close to $1 EPS now. So it's trading at 7 forward PE. I was expecting a much bigger re-rating on that massive cost cutting, and it hasn't happened.
Can I throw out 3 tickers that I think have really good fundamental support in terms of?
Let's start at 1 because I don't know if we'll be cut off by the time you finish the first one.
Yeah, 1 would be
right,
perfect. Dan will get to you real quick. Go ahead.
TGTX.
Oh yeah, we know this one. All right, go ahead.
So, look, this is a drug company. You can look at the growth in the scripts, which is really the story. But on top of it all, it still has a massive short position. There seems to be a bit of a ceiling here at $25, but I suspect it breaks that shortly. And going into the next quarter, I don't have the exact date at the top of my head, but this is certainly one.
This was actually mentioned by someone in our community. I forget his name, and we actually he submitted an official trade card on it with our format with like catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals. So that was a brilliant call by him. I was in it for a bit. I should have held it for a longer swing, but good job submitting that idea. If you're part of a community, you can submit ideas and you just input through a Google form. A catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, technicals. We'll fill in where you might need some help on, and then we publish it in our room in our familiar 4-pillar format. So great alert on TJTX, and now the Godfather's on board too. So maybe I got to look at initiating another position on this.
All right. Appreciate you guys with the flexibility. And I believe we are ready to go again. Check out Story Trading. They have a lot of great different ideas and, thesis and insights there. So appreciate all 3 of you for joining us.
Awesome. Did you do a quick change? You got all handsome all of a sudden.
I appreciate that. Thanks for calling me a little beforehand. I really do appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. I told you guys, one thing that we love to do at Benzinga, if you're just watching the show for the first time, well, welcome. But one thing that we love to do here at Benzinga is to not just give you the trade ideas based on the charts, but also give you trade ideas based on fundamentals. We want to talk to executives from publicly traded companies to kind of get insights directly from them in terms of what is going on. And we've got a back-to-back doubleheader. So we'll go ahead and start off with Dan Wagner, who is a chairman and CEO of Rezolve, which the ticker is RZLV. All access starts right now. Dan, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning.
There's so many things for us to talk about, especially in the space of AI. But for the folks that might not be familiar with your company, give us a brief overview, please.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is level up commerce and e-commerce in particular, because e-commerce has been really left unchanged for the last 30 years, and Gen AI really can change that dramatically, can really level it up. And what I mean by that is that, when you're dealing with digital commerce, you can't really ask opinions of the digital site. You can't get insight. And so what consumers tend to do is they go to a website, they look at the products, and they go off to YouTube and they do some research. They go and see some, unboxing and all that kind of stuff and reviews. And so what we're doing is we are changing that by making e-commerce really the best salesperson on the planet. When you're talking to our Brain Commerce Gen AI sales agent, you're actually getting the best insights into the product. So you could ask a question like, what's the best mobile phone? Is it an iPhone 14 or a Samsung S22? And you can get advice and opinions and interaction with what we would describe as the best salesman on the planet.
How do you kind of take that? So I've seen, AI used in different aspects of it. Even now, drive-thrus are using AI. Customer service applications are using AI as well. How do we implement that, however, to the HR and IT service management space? Because I would assume, and I'd love for your insights, that that's a bit more of a personalized touch that you would need.
Look, we come from a commerce background. We've been doing e-commerce and search technology for 40 years. I built the largest information business in the 90s and the late 90s, and sold that to Thomson Reuters. And then I built the market leader in enterprise SaaS e-commerce in Europe and sold that to Oracle. So, we come from a background of decades of running e-commerce and search. And so what we're doing now is we're just leveling that whole thing up in the context of e-commerce and digital engagement, so that when you will be interacting now with commerce sites, you'll be doing so in the same way that you might do if you go into a physical store, where you get advice and opinions and interaction, and you're actually led to a sale. We have built our own large language model, a foundational language model. So I think we're the only listed public company that owns its own foundational model, a 300 billion data parameter model. And so on the back of that, but that model has been designed specifically for commerce and retail. And I think that where we are in AI at the moment is that there are a number of players out there that say, here is some tools to go build your solutions on. And we're going into market saying, we've got the tools, but we've built the solutions. We're solving real problems, which is, basically upending the old style of e-commerce and creating a whole new environment. An example might be you just pick your phone up and say, I need 2 tickets to a show on Broadway. I'd like to go to a popular show. I want to sit in the center stalls. What have you got on Wednesday, the 27th of November? And you get the answer, you buy your tickets. And the process to do that today is search for Broadway, search for a date, get a load of results. You don't know if they're popular. You don't know if they're in the right category. You don't know if you've got the seats. You have to filter. That process is history in our view.
It's interesting. We have like this trading competition, and I have to think about along with the team of, hey, does it take 2 clicks to sign up or 1 click to sign up? And it's kind of similar to what you're saying is like, hey, you got to find the Broadway, the dates, the show, the ticket, your credit card information. There's more of a process. And, I want to talk about OpenAI, and then you mentioned the phone. So like Apple's, working with OpenAI to kind of integrate those with their new iPhones as well. There's so much happening in this AI space. I'd love to know, how is what you're doing different from a solution from, say, an OpenAI that you may not have mentioned yet? Because I know you mentioned a few nuggets.
So we don't see ourselves as competitive with OpenAI and Anthropic and Cohere and those guys. because those guys are selling, to use an analogy, they're selling concrete and glass. And they're saying to people, go build your skyscraper. And we're going to the market saying, look, we're a realtor. We've already got we've got loads of skyscrapers and apartments and offices, and you can come take an apartment, take an office. I mean, that analogy, what I'm really saying there is that we built solutions to solve attrition in checkout in retail, right? And we can do it in any one of 95 languages, and we can do it in a way that allows people who are not familiar with products to have a conversation with a salesman. When I say a salesman, it's a Gen AI generated, artificial intelligence interaction, but it is a solution to a problem, and we're solving that problem, and we provide it as a tool set. Now, retailers and brands, they're not very sophisticated in building products. So they go to third parties and they say, look, have we got open AI? Can you build this on top of it? And, it's a process, and they often get it wrong. We've seen that in the past, So what we're doing is we're saying, we've got the solution. We solve a problem. It's AI, it's Gen AI, it's great, but AI is just a foundation to deliver a solution, and we solve problems.
I buried the lead here. I should have started with this, and I apologize for that. But you just, you're on the NASDAQ now. You're trading, so welcome to the financial markets in the public space. What do you want the investors to know about this big development? Because a lot of times people forget that, hey, this was a private company that has seen success, and now they're going public. What do you want the potential investors to know that are watching right now?
Okay, so I want them to know this, right? I'm 40 years a tech entrepreneur. I built businesses in the space over that period, market leaders. And there has never been a bigger opportunity than what Gen AI offers the market. It's the biggest shift in technology that I've seen in my career, in my lifetime. And we are sitting at the forefront of one of the biggest opportunities, which is commerce and retail, with a suite of products that solve significant problems and do so without the customer having to build anything, right? We've solutioned it. It's built and solutioned. Over the last 8 years, we've done that. So we're ready to go to market and pick up a market position, which we believe over the next couple of years, we're going to dominate. So that's the opportunity. Now, people can play the markets. They can play the opportunity. They can take a view. I would say that we are a serial winners. We're sitting at the forefront of a massive opportunity with a fantastic suite of products that are at the moment not comparable by other players in the market. And we have competitive advantage of owning our own large language model. So we don't have the cost base of some third party having to, to pay OpenAI or somebody else for those services. So we are competitive. So we have all of those features, plus our own patents in the space that give us, I think, competitive advantage.
Now, I've got a couple of minutes with you, but I feel like any company that is in the internet space, especially in the space of AI, needs to worry about privacy and security of customer data, because now more than ever, we are giving companies our data, not just from our phones, but the internet. Now, even our cars can track kind of where we're going and say, hey, you spent this much time at a Target. So maybe, there's just so much happening. How do you ensure that privacy and security of customer data is safe with you?
So first of all, we're PCI level 1 compliant, which is the payment card industry standard, the highest level of security. It's bank level security. But more importantly, we're not an independent provider of solutions. We are a technology provider that provide those technologies to retailers. So it is the retailer that is using our tech as part of their site. They have their own policies and procedures in managing security and infrastructure. And most of them do it pretty well, certainly the large ones. And so we are just providing technology to them to level up their interaction with their customers. I think that it is really meaningful to be able to go to, say, and this is not a customer, I'm just using an example, Home Depot, and saying, hey, when I'm talking to the site, either through my phone or typing into the site or speaking to the site, I'm saying something like, hey, look, I need to build some shelving. What do I do? And to get an answer, you need some shelves, you need some varnish, you need some nails, and this is how you can put it together. You get a proper conversation, which is the kind of conversation I might have with a very good salesperson at Home Depot, right? So that's kind of where we're coming from. We're trying to say that there is a real step change in the interaction with digital platforms as a result of our tech.
Something that we say often here at Benzinga is, if you want to invest in the thing behind the thing, where the technology behind what you may be seeing is what you want to kind of try to figure out and see what's happening. So like if a bunch of cars are going to be sold, well, look at the tire manufacturer, right? Because no matter which car manufacturer is going to win. Everybody needs tires. But it was a great talking to you again. Congrats on being listed on the NASDAQ. Congrats on being open to the public markets. Is there anything else that I missed that you wanted to talk to our viewers about before you go?
No, I just think that, we're new onto the market. It's a great opportunity to buy into the growth of AI and Gen AI in particular, vertical that's very focused, a great opportunity. There's plenty of other opportunities in vertical markets, but I think that we're focused on one of the biggest, a multi-trillion-dollar retail and commerce marketplace. And we think that we're going to win.
Hey, I look forward to having many more conversations, especially after your first earnings report. Maybe we can cover those things and talk about possible guidance as if you provide them as well. But thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, Dan.
That's a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
You got it. That was my man, Dan Wagner, who is a chairman and CEO. Again, the ticker just listed recently is RZLV. And we promise you we've got a double header. So let me go ahead and bring on my next guest, who is Brian Goodman, who is a CEO of Golden Matrix Group. Ticker on the NASDAQ is GMGI. All Access continues. Brian, good morning and welcome to the show.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. There's so many things for us to talk about. Your Q2 results that came out, your opportunities in Brazil. But just like I did with my previous guest, for the folks that might not be familiar, give me some insights on what is it that your company does.
So we're a B2B and a B2C gaming company. Primarily, we're a online gaming company, and we operate sports books and online casinos.
I mean, we talk about a thing behind the thing. I think this is another example of that as well, that no matter which sports book you're at, there's technologies and use cases that you're providing opportunities as well. Let's talk about your Q2 results and how they kind of demonstrate the operational success of the company. Give us some highlights from that, please.
I'd love to talk some numbers. Yeah, it was our first real quarter as a consolidated company with Meridian, the sports book. Good numbers, 75% growth in revenues, $40 million for the second quarter, adjusted EBITDA of over $5 million, and cash on hand, an incredible $40 million, double last year's figure. And best of all, our shareholder equity grew 52% to just under $90 million.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no wonder you want to talk about numbers because they're looking quite impressive there. So that's what you've done. Let's talk about what you're going to do, which is why I want to talk about your market opportunity in Brazil. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, yeah, obviously the whole world is very excited about Brazil. A while ago, there was an expression of interest, as in there was a list of people that made an expression of interest and were allowed to continue or to start up a gaming operation in Brazil. We were part of that list, and it's a multifaceted approval process. So it's going through a procedure. Yesterday there was a deadline, and the list was reduced substantially, and we were on that list as well. Brazil being probably the third largest gaming market in the world. And it's different to the US because it's federal. So when you get a license in Brazil, you're going to have the whole country, not just state by state. So it's a huge opportunity. We're very confident that we will get a license, and we already operate there. So it's a huge opportunity for us, and it'll also transform the company.
I'm sure it saves you a lot of fees on lawyers as well. If you get at the federal level, you don't need to go to jurisdictions independently themselves as well. Exactly. You mentioned, I think there's an announcement about an acquisition that you made of an indirect majority stake in Classics for a Cause, which my understanding is a leading independent online discount platform in Australia. So we're still talking about overseas. Tell me about this and why it makes sense to the bottom line of your business with Golden Matrix Group.
So in our history, one of our first acquisitions was a company called R-Kings Competitions. It's a raffle ticket type business. It operates in the UK. Initially, before we made the Meridian acquisition, it accounted in a short period of time for more than 50% of our revenues and 50% of our profits. In simple terms, it's a sort of a raffle ticket business where you sell tickets to win high-end prizes. So you buy a ticket, you can win a Ferrari or whatever. We pretty much, it's a large business, and it's performed really well. This business we've just acquired is a very similar business, and because of our success with the previous business, we obviously very confident that we can build this out. It's already very profitable. It has revenues of just over $10 million and profits of just over $2 million. And we believe that our technology and our expertise in this part of the world will grow it substantially. And we bought it at a fairly low multiple, a 5x multiple of profits. Yeah. And we're very excited about it, and it'll be a good addition to our suite of products.
So you're expanding, you have, money that you're investing as well. I want to go back to your B2B and B2C model. I would assume that you might face some challenges because you're trying to be great at both things, right? But I'm sure you have a team that's great at executing it, or else you wouldn't go down this path. What are the benefits, though, of operating a dual B2B and B2C model as well in this business?
So I guess we don't have a lot of time to discuss the strategy, but actually it's the diversity of the company. And in some instances, when we enter a market like Brazil, you need, in fact, in some countries, it's required that you have a partner on the ground that is operating and either has a license or has experience. And in these instances, what we do is we partner with somebody. We offer potentially like a franchise model where we can give them our technology, get them up and going. They operate potentially under our brand. And once they're going, we can acquire them or acquire the majority interest in them. And so having a B2B capability also very important for us right now is that we're going through the New Jersey license procedure. And once it's approved, we will offer up our games. It's a studio called Expand Studios, very successful game studio. We'll offer our games to operators within the US. So we'll have our games distributed through large operators, and that's a B2B model. So it allows us to enter markets in different ways. But in terms of diversity, the company is diverse in its products, all gaming related, but also in terms of the countries it operates in. So we're not really reliant on any one country in particular. So there's always risks in terms of taxes and things like that. We diverse on both fronts.
And with the diversification, right? You come to the US, basketball and football, I would assume, are the big sports to bet on. You go to Canada, I think that changes to say hockey. You go to Brazil, Argentina, I would assume soccer takes over. What I'm saying is, depending on what country you go to, different things are popular, different things work. So how are you able to differentiate which products best work with what country and jurisdiction to make sure that your efforts are amplified and you're getting the best bang for your buck, both on the business side, but also for the consumers as well, since you have a dual model?
Yes, I mean, we offer the full gambit of all of those products, cricket included, which is one of the largest, followed sports in the world, and probably the most, money bet on sports. But we offer all of these, but obviously emphasize the different sports in the different countries. And our technology comes into play, which is very important. And most people don't realize that running a sports book requires very, very sophisticated technology. It takes in feeds from different feed providers. And then what it does, it calculates results and it puts up bets, and in order to do it efficiently and competitively, you need the best technology. And we believe we have that.
How dare I forget cricket? I feel like my parents are going to text me. I know.
Good,
Especially when you just had, the T20 World Cup that took place. And, earlier today on the show, I was talking to our viewers about the prediction markets and how that's taken off. And there's never been more of an opportunity than today to donate to Las Vegas and everyone else, our hard-earned money as well. Well, look, congrats on the Q2 results. You've got the expansions and market opportunities in Brazil and overseas and everything you're doing. You've got the dual model of B2B and B2C as well. Is there anything else that we didn't cover today that you want our viewers to know about?
No, I just think I'd like to close by saying it's a huge opportunity, investment opportunity that we have here. And, you know, we have a slogan that says, "You can bet on us," is our slogan. And we've always delivered. We've always been profitable. We have a long history of positive cash generation. And so we're not out there burning other people's money. We're offering good returns to shareholders, and I would suggest anybody who's interested, have a look at the company.
We've got one question from the chat, so I hope you don't mind staying with me. They want me to ask you, what are some tailwinds for the company in the next 6 to 12 months? We talked about Brazil. We talked about the acquisition as well. Are there any other things that are happening within the company that you think our viewers should keep an eye on as you have 6 to 12 months to go?
Yeah, I think those are the two largest, as well as the American opportunity that we discussed. Entering America is obviously, the US is a big, a big opportunity for us. And so all of those, we have other licenses that we've been granted that are underway. So we're expanding globally, and these are all very valuable opportunities.
All right, should be a lot of fun. And, the technology behind Sportsbook is so key because so much information is being fed in terms of weather, in terms of injury, in terms of whatever is impacting.
Yeah, it's real time. These bets are being placed in real time, and we're offering up lines. You can watch a match. You can bet on who's going to score the next touchdown, who's going to fall over and, hurt himself. Any type of bet that's going. There are hundreds, actually thousands of these lines that are being produced in real time.
And, we're going to start seeing TVs where you're watching the sport, and on your TV, not even on your phone, on your TV, you can bet on, hey, what is the next snap going to be in football? I know a certain someone who bet on if the total score at the end of the first quarter of a basketball game was going to be odd or even. So, like I said, plenty of ways to invest your money in the sports betting market. But thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, Brian.
Thanks, Anad. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. You got it. That is Brian Goodman, who is the CEO of Golden Matrix Group. Check out the ticker on the NASDAQ is GMGI. And we thank you for watching All Access.